that is a good
That is
request.
a good thing.
Yeah, that is actually that's a substantive, valid request. That if you're coming in and you're bringing 30,000 people, the city can help with security, and so I don't think that that's a bad thing to ask for, right?
Right.
Hotel accommodations, I guess. I don't know what the city would have to do with that, but maybe if the city, I
They got
haven't done an
packages.
event that level. So yeah, if the city got special packages for these types of conventions or what have you, that would be great. If there's a network of black-owned hotels, that would be great. One of the issues that I've had is that we'll have like I've seen this happen, and and here's the deal. Here's the deal, and this is what I want people to know too. As something is being developed, there's always going to be deficiencies as we grow in what we're doing from a business point of view. So the business that started 10 years ago is not going to look like the business 10 years later because hopefully
Hmm.
we've solved some problems, we've gotten over certain hurdles and what have you. So there's a developmental process that takes place. And within this developmental process, there will be deficiencies at the beginning, right? So
Yes.
if there's an invest fest that's going on, there's going to be certain things that are gaps. And if what the brother's saying is like, hey, we've grown to 30,000 people that we're expecting per day, security could be a concern, and the city could provide some type of security, particularly if the city has a precedent, or the cities of the country or of the world have a precedent to help with security for big time events, right? So I'm sure, like, if the Super Bowl comes through, and we're not saying that the Invest Fest is the Super Bowl, but 30,000 people is 30,000 people. So
And security was horrible.
okay,
I
so you
just
see,
have to put that on the
so
record.
so that is a
Um,
substantive that's a
yeah.
substantive request for support, and if you're not getting that, then it is worthy of public commentary. Now, what I'm also seeing here is that the mayor actually did speak at the Invest Fest, so maybe
He
they
did.
worked it out. So maybe they did get contact with each other,
Yeah.
and um, you know they worked it out, so hopefully it worked out for them, you know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
but this public thing is that's what got a lot of people like tuned in. The
That
other
was a
aspect,
marketing scheme
yes, so now
because
here, because people like conflict, right? Conflict is
right.
what, so there's a lot of people who didn't know about the Invest Fest until this little brouhaha happened, right? So they
They
say
received
any
publicity that you
hmm
couldn't pay for.
yes,
They
that's
received
interesting.
worldwide publicity, statewide publicity, regional wide publicity that they couldn't have paid for if they would have dropped millions of dollars on a press junket. They
Yeah,
received free publicity, and the type of publicity that they received, it wasn't all, what I mean? It wasn't the worst publicity that you could
right,
ask for. It was just a critique. It was just a
right.
critique. It wasn't like Rashad, they wasn't getting into their private lives. There wasn't a scandal
Well,
involving,
okay. Oh,
infidelity,
all right. So
spousal
here's
abuse, or
all right.
anything
So
like that nature.
let's talk about that.
Right. So
I'm glad you
we're in
brought
the
that up.
attention economy, mind you. Let's put that
Right.
on the table as well. So there's a new way of getting people's attention. But please go ahead.
And I'm so glad I'm having this conversation with you because, like I said, you're more plugged in than I am with a lot of the social relationships because I've never
Yes.
met the brothers at Earn Your Leisure or any of the ancillary entities that deal with Earn Your Leisure. So having this conversation with you, I think, is very fruitful. I did hear critiques because I wanted to know what people got out of InvestFest, and I was really, after you came back with your report, I was really excited that people were coming to that type of level to learn about investing, which is, to me, I think that's a win for our people based on where our people's attention tends to be. It's usually based on entertainment. Now, one of the critiques I heard, so there's a few critiques that I heard, and then
Yes.
there is this energy that exists, and you've seen it, and I'm going to talk about it. There's this energy that exists that is a hyena energy, a,
Yes.
a vulture energy. In Jamaica, we call him John Crow, a John Crow
Yeah.
energy,
John Crow, Red Eye.
where there is this. glee that comes from feeding on the corpse of our people. What I
Yes.
mean by that is that once I saw that there was a problem with InvestFest, and the brother made the comment, because we can go over the comment that he made, that this isn't just for black people, I'm off the black thing. There was this rush to defame them. So, and what
Yes.
I mean by that was, okay, you were insulted that he said this isn't just a black thing and what have you. And that white folks can come and what have you. So people were insulted. So then there was now a campaign to dig into these brothers' personal lives to see if they were like qualified to talk about investing and like who are they really. And this guy used to be a
A
you know
teacher.
a, a,
He was a
a,
he
a
was a PE teacher. How
yeah,
does he know
yeah,
about
a
investing?
yeah, PE teacher. This guy, he used to just work for his family's, business, and so you see a lot of this tearing down. And I could see like there's a look that people have in their eye when I can see that they're possessed by the pleasure of black destruction.
Yes, because
Yeah, I could
you
see
know when
that
you go to
violence.
KFC, you
Yes.
go to KFC and they ask you white or dark meat,
Hmm.
and they go with the dark meat because it is so delicious, right?
That must be it. Yeah,
So
it
when they
must be
tearing these
delicious.
carcasses up, they going that
Yeah,
dark meat tastes better than that white meat,
yeah.
and people love to descend on these carcasses. But please continue.
Yeah, so I saw that, and I'm very like I can see that a mile away when there's a look in people's eyes when they are feeding on black destruction and they're very happy about it. And it's a tradition that has happened, with our people. That's why like division, people get excited by division and get powered by division and like the low hanging fruit that has kept us losing, right?
Yes,
I saw this whole almost like a campaign to destroy these brothers, right? Without talking about necessarily what they've done over the years has been positive. They've even gotten 1 or 10 people to think about investing as a serious family endeavor. You got to salute these brothers, right? Regardless of what background they come from. And then a lot of people who criticize them obviously don't know that there's a lot of these people who have degrees in finance who are broke. There's a lot of people who have degrees with MBA, Harvard degrees. I mean, I went to school with a lot of these folks with Harvard
yes,
degrees and all of that. And because where I went to undergrad, my undergrad was Tufts University, but Tufts University was down the street from MIT and Harvard. So Tufts University, MIT, and Harvard, we used to all party together. And so if you pledged a Greek letter fraternity or sorority, they all pledged together. So Tufts, Harvard, and MIT were like three brother and sister schools, right? So that means that when I was in school, I got to meet all these folks who later on became like, so-called important people within the society because they went to MIT, Harvard, and Tufts, right? Because that's where I went to
right.
school. And I'm going to tell you all right now, just because you have a degree in finance doesn't mean you know what the hell you're talking about. Just because you have a degree, an MBA degree, doesn't mean that you know what you're talking about. The way that you judge whether someone knows what they're talking about is the consistency and the quality of their results. So I know people I went to law school with who were terrible law students and now they're judges. You understand what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
went to school with people when I was, had got my science degree who are now doctors and they were terrible in biology class. You get what I'm saying? What I'm saying is that there is this penchant to try to look into people and try to tear people apart without actually asking the real question is what are these brothers results. And from what I've surmised, they've been getting some good results for people in terms of their stock picks and giving people a way to think about investing and what have you. So I think that the brothers in what they've done to build a platform. And keep in mind, these are young brothers who started a platform on investing, not a platform based on entertainment gossip or, any of these things that our people like to be excited by. This is actually like adult conversations. And so the fact that people are so quick to try to tear them down shows you that there's going to be a constant of people who will try to tear you down no matter what good you may do or the moment that you may say something that they disagree with or is out of character or something, they're willing to destroy you 100% completely. Now, in terms of his statement about I'm off this black thing this and that, and what have you. There tends to be there is this thing that happens when you want to be a player in the world, and you feel like the black title pigeonholes you to limitations, right? So you don't want to be seen as a black organization or a black company or a black investment network, because their whole thing is like, we want to take it to the highest level possible. So what happens is that whenever you have someone who's reached a certain level of success, you're confronted with, um, do I make this something that is a black power thing, or do I make this something that's universal? And we can then extract black power from the universalism of what we're doing. And I think what happened is that in his case, he got frustrated by seeing all of the negative commentary. And what happens is there is no person who's tried to do anything for black folks that has not been frustrated with black folks. I mean, I'm just going to keep it real.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Now, I'm
That,
not saying that I agree with what he said, but anybody who's tried to do things for our people, you're going to, and you do it on a serious level, you're going to have moments where you say, is this worth it? You understand what I'm saying? Because
yeah.
we we've practiced the behavior of losing so long that we are very skilled in doing the things that cause us to lose, right? Which is division, gossip, this and that, instead of just like closing in ranks and doing what needs to be done and accomplishing goals. Now, one of the critiques that I did here, and I want to get your perspective on this, Brother Redfield. I want your real perspective on this. I really, really want to hear what you got to say about this. One of the critiques that I did hear from people is that I came to Invest Fest to learn about investing and to plug into like the investor world, but I got there and there's celebrities who didn't make their money from investing talking, right? So it
Right.
became more of a celebrity fest, right? Like Steve, like their critique was, I didn't learn anything about investing. It was all motivational speeches by people who were basically comedians, social media figures, influencers, but they didn't make their money from investing. And I didn't learn anything about investing at the Invest Fest. And I thought that that was an interesting statement. But at the same time, I also know that if you're doing an event and you want our people to come, sometimes you have to have so-called marquee names
Right.
that cause an interest, right? And maybe that'll pull people in, but there were the serious people who were like, I wasn't there to see celebrities. I was there
Right.
to like really get my investment game on. So I can understand from a promoter's point of view, or the a venue point of view, or a strategic point of view to market your event, that you might have some so-called celebrity names that make our people, because where our people are at right now, the celebrities are the magnetism, right? That we can be
Right.
talking about, and I've seen it. Like I'll give lectures about reversing cancer, and you'll look at the room, and I know that like maybe there's 200 people in the room, and I'm in Washington D.C., but I know like if I said Beyonce was there, right, it'd be 20,000 people
Right.
there. You get what I'm saying?
It's called lead magnets.
Yes. So I want you to talk about that, and from the critique point of view, and then what you witness point of view, and what you think should be done to bridge the gap, to still make people interested, because people may not be interested in tuning in and going to a venue for hours on end to talk about technical aspects of trading and EMAs and chart reading and all of that, and that you might get more people to come out for their own good if you attract them with the honey of celebrity. So could you speak about that?
Yeah. Interestingly enough, right, as we're talking about this, can I share my screen real quick?
Yeah,
Or
absolutely. Yeah, just go ahead and share it, and I'll share it. And I think Brother Anthony's on. Big up, Brother Anthony Sankofa Revolutionary Radio.
big up, my brother.
All right, we've added. There you go.
So this was Brother Rich, aka Black Magic 363, my good brother. And he said, over the last 2 months, I seen more negative posts from Black people about Earn Your Leisure and Invest Fest than I've seen about Dr. Fauci and the Senate hearings. Am I missing something? Right? And, melanated people are being found hanging and all type of stuff, right? But I don't see no outrage over that. There's people are not giving their energy and their quote unquote, I don't see the thought pieces on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's all good. It is, I just feel like sometimes there's lower hanging fruit and people they'll collectively come together and pick it. Now, I read out when I was participating. I think about 2 weeks ago, I pulled up the guest list. Right, they had the flyer with all of the names of the people who they were inviting to speak on the stages and whatnot. Right, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, man, this is an awful lot of celebrities. They stacked the deck real high this year with basically celebrities.
Right.
And I wasn't in total agreement of it. That's not something that I don't feel like there were certain people qualified to speak on finances, because when it comes to finances and when it comes to investment, we could basically we could indict 95% of the entertainment industry for being detrimental to our community based off of the things that they promoted over the last 30 years. They did not speak about investment. They did not help us with the inroads of how to basically build up our stock portfolios. That is not what they did. They told us to buy the product. They did not tell us to buy the stocks. A lot of these athletes and these artists and whatnot got jerked on their deals and whatnot. They are not good businessmen and women, right? They
Correct.
are the poster child of bad business. If you were to ask me, they are not
Mm-hmm.
to be followed. They don't have advice to give us. Their financial advisors are robbing them. The majority of them are invested in Tel Aviv and other things that are harmful. So, I'm not really enticed. I'm not enticed. However,
Mm-hmm.
I waltzed my black ass into a conference room where Steve Harvey, the comedian, and if anybody is unaware, Steve Harvey is InvestFest. Steve Harvey in year number two, when they invited him to be on the stage, Steve Harvey became a partner in InvestFest after he got off the stage.
Okay.
So it's really the Steve Harvey show with Rashad and them. I'm sure that they're retaining their ownership and whatnot, but Steve Harvey is a partner. So the influx of all of these millionaires from the quote unquote the billionaires, I mean, from places that were hard to reach, that's all Steve Harvey's work. So
Mm.
when you get the celebrities that play golf with Steve Harvey, that's Steve Harvey's work. So the influx of celebrities, that's all Steve Harvey. That's not Rashad and them. That's not their doing. That is the partnership that they basically made with Steve Harvey.
Mm.
So it's really the Steve Harvey show.
Okay.
But it's not something that, if you're not paying attention and if you don't have that behind the scene, I mean, you just had to pay attention to understand what you're looking at. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people don't pay attention because they're not that invested in these quote unquote brands the way that I may be, right?
Right.
Steve Harvey brought the white billionaires in. Steve Harvey's the one bringing in some of these billionaires that we don't even know about. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they had BlackRock as a sponsor. you know what I'm
I see.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a Steve Harvey show. But I went up in there, and some of the most simplest advice that you would say, oh, we all know this. Well, if we all know this, we should be speaking about this every day. When he got up there and he talked about how he was pimping life insurance,
Mm.
I was like, damn, I've heard people say this on many occasions, but coming from Steve Harvey, I was like, shit, it resonated a little bit more to me because it's Steve Harvey.
Okay.
And he's like, yo, I put my children to school through pimping this life insurance. You know what I'm saying? They want their money back. They're going to have to get it back from me after I'm dead. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I'm opening up these life insurance policies and I'm pulling all of that money from these life insurance policy and I'm funding a whole bunch of other projects. This is what you need to do. This is how you should do it. This is what I did.
Okay, so he gave the steps. So it was actually something useful. Because
He gave
what he's talking about, people is a concept called infinite banking with insurance, which is another
right,
conversation.
right,
And then
right,
you have to decide, these insurance premiums that you pay, would it make sense to do that or dollar cost average into good company? So I mean, there's apples and oranges,
right.
but the fact that he was breaking it down and giving people, see, here's my thing, man. Um, I'm not a fan of empty criticism. What I am a fan of is useful information that is actionable. So Steve Harvey, even though he's a comedian, if he's able to put people onto game to something that he did to increase his financial, and here's the thing too, we also have to keep in like mind that these celebrity people, there's two types, right? Um, you have those who have a serious positive cash flow situation because really they're employees and they're getting checks from entertainment companies, right? To be on
Mhm.
TV shows or movies, whatever. Their life is completely different than a 9 to 5 person, right? Who's living kind of paycheck to paycheck because, Steve Harvey's checks every 2 weeks or every month might be a couple $100,000. So his cash flow issues are a lot different than the average person. So listening to celebrities is a bit problematic because their cash flow issues are a little bit different. The other
Right,
side of it too is that a lot of celebrities are broke because
right.
if they don't do a project, they have no way of making money. So listening to them, a lot of times you don't have a sense of what their real financial life is because they can't tell you that they're broke because it ruins their image.
Facade. Right.
Yeah, the facade, right? Because everyone wants to be with the winner, and you don't want to know that your favorite actor, your favorite rapper, your favorite musician is actually living like you are check to check, right? The whole image is you want to buy this person's things because this person almost represents a superhero avatar to you. So it's not good to find out that Superman is really Clark Kent. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it is perilous to listen to celebrities. However, I would the caveat is if they're dropping game, you should be able to accept game from anywhere. If someone's giving you like the logistics on whatever, how they went from A to B, or how you can do X, Y, Z, and they're giving you logistical steps and they're able to show you like these are the results that I got, I believe that we should take that information from anyone. But I do also think that these celebrities have they don't have a real good grasp on life because of the fact that they're celebrities. They're surrounded by yes men and yes women. They don't live like the average person. They'll get a chunk of money that they have to live on until their next project or what have you. But these are the people who are the leaders of our communities. Like, when there's a political problem that black folks have, we go to our celebrities to ask their opinion. No one else does that. Whether they studied history, they studied the situation, it doesn't matter. It's just that the person, a celebrity, they got a camera in front of them, irrespective of how much study they put on a subject, their word and their thoughts resonate, even if they are telling you 1 + 1 = 3. You get what I'm saying? It's because of
Hmm.
their celebrities. And in our communities, we elevate celebrities to almost sainthood. So there is a problem. I think that if you do bring celebrities just so that you can attract people, it needs to be celebrities who have something substantive to say in terms of kinetic knowledge around investing in finance, which most celebrities just don't. They don't. That's why their business managers usually steal from them because they don't know any better. They don't know what's going on. But um, all in all, I will say this. Anytime brothers are changing the narrative to an adult conversation, which is
Yes.
investing, we have to salute that. If there are problems that we see, we understand that everything is a work in progress. But at the same time, we don't want to sell wolf tickets to people where people are coming to an invest fest and it turns out to be a dating mingles uh, type of thing and it becomes a celebrity lookout type of thing.
Right.
So But I understand the challenges with that as a promoter, because if me and you, Red, we decide we're going to do our own version of the Invest Fest, and we know that we want to be able to sell 10,000 tickets or 1,000 tickets for our first go, we always know that it's going to help if we have a celebrity friend who we can put on a flyer,
Right. It's a lead
right?
magnet. It's like,
It's a lead magnet, and that's just where we are as a people, man.
I put
Um,
myself on flyers to bring
hmm
people out so I could get other people visibility and whatnot. I've done that,
hmm
just make it make sense. You
yeah,
feel me? I feel that I feel that the arrogance of the artists need to be in the audience taking
yeah,
notes.
yeah,
The artists need to be in the audience taking notes. The artists, the athletes, and some of these celebrities,
yeah.
they should be humbled, right? They should be on panels, but they need to be humbled. They need to be told to their face that they were detrimental to the economic progression of our people based off of crash capitalism and the shit that they were pushing. Coming
hmm
to find out that they were just glorified employees and whatnot,
yeah.
and they were not owners. They need that.
Yeah, they
That's
do. But
to
the
hear.
problem is, it's hard to introduce that conversation when you've got that person on the flyer as your draw.
Of course, that's what I'm saying.
You
It's
know?
such a thin line and whatnot.
Yeah,
It's like you can't just invite somebody and then
yeah,
offend them and whatnot. You have to
yeah,
play nice.
yeah. And I
I
would
love
say this too. And the reason why this is a good conversation is because you've had events. There are two types of people who criticize. The critique that you're going to get from someone who's never built something is different than the critique from someone who has built something.
oh, for sure.
Okay. So because you have built something and you've had events before, your eyes on the problem is going to be quite different than someone who's an armchair person who's just looking to criticize anything that they may find worthy of critique, right? And the critiques a lot of times are unseasoned, lack of knowledge type of critiques just based on nitpicking, right? The
Yes.
critique that we're interested in is we're interested in critiques from people who've built something. Because when you've built something, you understand the perils of investing in that thing, that idea that you came up with, and the branding and how it's associated to your reputation and all of that, which people who've never built anything, they just don't know. Like if you've never had a company, you don't know, and you had to hire people. Like the employee of the company has a whole different world view of what's going on than the person who's the owner of the company, who's taken all financial risk, may have gotten a second mortgage on their house, gets paid last, right?
Yes.
All the employees have to get paid first before the owner can get paid. But it's hard to have these conversations if you've never built anything, right?
That's a
Because
fact.
you're going to always empathize and sympathize with the employee because most people are employees and they can only see the world through an employee point of view. But the employee is taking no economic risk. The only risk that the employee takes is a time risk. In other words, you're selling your time, but you're not taking economic risk, right? You can go get another job. The person who's invested their life savings and their home and their mortgage into this business has a whole different, they don't stop thinking about the business when it's time to check out. Like a business owner is working 24/7. Even in their dreams, they're thinking about ways to make the business successful.
Yes, they are.
So it's a little bit different. So I always try to discern between the critique of people who've built something and the critique of people who've never built anything, right?
Right.
There's a whole 'cause your idea of the Invest Fest is going to be different than these people who just want to tear down any black person because they heard something they didn't like. Because you actually, number one, went and then you've done events and you've also invested in things before, so you can be able to speak about it in a whole different point of view. That's why
Right.
your conversation to me is very important about what you saw with the Invest Fest, as opposed to a random person, posting a complaint on YouTube
And I
because they've never built anything before.
right, right. It's different. And I would say this as well. I would rather go to the Invest Fest and find my spouse, right?
Hmm
Because one of the main caveats of success, one of the main caveats of your business thriving, one of the main caveats of both financial ruin or financial upheaval, right, is to be equally yoked with the right partner.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were to ask, if I was a single man in town worth millions of dollars, and you would say, yo, would you rather go to a singles night? Would you rather go to a networking event where you could meet a significant other? Or would you rather go to the club to stand on somebody's couch?
Mm-hmm.
I would go to the event and I would want to be equally, I would want to be amongst my peers, and I would want to be in a room with some qualified quote unquote counterparts. And yes, I will work that damn room the same way that I will work the room when I'm looking for millions of dollars. To me, that's more important
Mm-hmm.
than getting a loan.
Right.
Okay? Because at the end of the day, I'm what's better than one billionaire too, right? So I'm like, yo, I got a lot of things going on, but I don't have what really makes me ultimately happy, a family or
Mm-hmm.
somebody, or you know what I mean, or somebody who I could say, yo, she could understand the language that I speak. She could
Right.
help, or she could, you know what I mean, she could be my rock. I could be her rock. I could invest in her.
Right.
It might not even be sexual. It might be I might be looking for women to invest in. I might be looking for somebody that I
Yeah.
want to partner with. I
Yeah.
may be
Movers
looking
and
for a
shakers.
muse.
Movers and shakers. Movers and
Movers, yeah, I
shakers.
might be looking
Yeah.
for a muse. I might say, yo, I'm looking for a beautiful woman to go in these meetings with, or to go on these business dinners with, and we're gonna lock these deals down. We're acting.
Right. 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 Right.
Rather
It's
than
it's
rather
kinetic.
rather than somebody throwing their entire heart in things and getting it broken and all messed up, and now you want to cut
Right.
your hair off. No, let's act a little bit. You feel
Right.
me? Let's do a
Let's
little
get
bit of role
active.
playing. People are out here role playing. Let's role play in a Wall Street setting. Me
Yeah.
and you. Let's put on our finest. Let's go to put our finest on and go role play and embody this shit. I like things like that. I like to do things like that. You know what I
Right.
mean? And we could fall in love off of our success.
Right.
Like, I'm not against that.
Right. No, I think
I don't
here's
think that's weird.
yeah, man. Here's the thing, man.
Do you know how many beautiful women were there? I'm sorry to cut your wisdom.
No, no, go ahead.
Do you know how many I'm talking about? Our people are drop dead. And this isn't all. I've been to block parties. You know what I'm saying? I've been all over. I
Yeah.
mean, the people are getting more beautiful by the day, right?
Red pill is on
I'm
fire.
just saying. I mean, it was
Talk
a
the things.
BBL convention, but I'm not
Talk the
even talking
things.
about. I'm just talking about people with
Right.
skincare routines. That
Right.
people, once people get their life together, they just exude a certain type of ambiance to them. You know what I mean? They become
Right.
more magnetic. I was witnessing that.
Right.
Why not cater to that?
Absolutely. You
Okay.
know, I'm all about that, man. And like I'll say, man, when we parse through all the negativity, um, here's the deal, man. The American politician Barack Hussein Obama has a quote where he says, "You cannot let the good become the enemy of the perfect." So the Invest Fest may not have been perfect, but we can focus on whatever good came out of it or whether good was there, right? Because in the absence of the Invest Fest, there's no mass conversation about investing. And I know investing has changed my life to the point where I don't have to work for anyone, right? And I've been economically free for a long time, right? And
Yes.
investing changed my life. And so the fact that brothers obviously have had investing change their life and can spread the good word and the methodology and the approach to other people, you have to do nothing but salute them. And if one brother gets frustrated with black folks, you see, here's the thing: the people who got offended by his comment, I always wonder, like how in tune are they with the black, with black power in their life anyway? Or you just get offended just to be offended, right? Like,
Right.
I had a suspicion that some of these people, don't necessarily hold the line when it comes to like black power and commerce. anyway, but for some reason, this was something that they wanted to focus on. The other side of it too is that tangibly, whether he says, this I'm off of the black thing, what we know is that if you've been in this movement for over 5 to 10 years, there are days where you feel that way because our people are ruthless when it comes to taking down people who are trying to do something. Because
Right.
there's an inertia that has us practicing and engaging in very bad habits towards losing. So anyone who's going to do anything publicly for black people, you have to have very thick skin because you will be underappreciated, you will be maligned, you will be talked about in a very terrible. That's why I always said to people, I don't want to be your leader, because I see how you treat your leaders. You know what I'm saying? But what I will say is that substantively, you have to respect what the brothers at Earn Your Leisure have done. You have to respect it. Whether you disagree with one statement, we know that they have done more for at least exposing the minds of black folks to an alternative way of making money that's legal and
Yeah.
actually generationally relevant to be able to pass this on to your children. And if they've been able to do that I think I think I heard something where they've been doing what they've been doing for about 8 years. And so in 8 years, I'm sure that they have touched hundreds of people's lives, if not thousands of people's lives, and have put them on course to not just become a wage slave. And anyone who has taken their time because they have freed themselves economically, but they have come back like a Harriet Tubman and showed other folks how to escape the plantation, they
Yes.
have they have to be saluted, man. And we can't allow the good to be the enemy of the perfect. So maybe what the brother said was not a perfect, and maybe he was in a state of frustration, and maybe the
Um,
Invest Fest was not what it fully could have been because it was more celebrity focused and lacked a little bit more seriousness than people would have liked. We still have to salute the brothers for putting on an event like that to at least attract 30,000 people every day, to at least be under the guise of investment in whoever that hits, where they take it further. Because at the end of the day, it is up to you, the individual, to apply yourself to any information that you've gotten. It is up to you. It is not up to Earn Your Leisure to make stock trades and buys for you. You have to show initiative. And if the brothers have put together a platform and a venue just for people to be exposed to the conversation and where people can meet each other who are involved in these types of activities, I say you have to give the brothers some grace and applaud them. And really, the critique should be constructive critique and seeing how you might be able to help out to take their mission even further.
right.
And a lot of people are trying to say, "Oh, they're doing it for themselves to make money for themselves." Like, there's nothing wrong with making money in a business, and if you're going to do a venue and you're going to have an event, it should be a net positive event economically for the people who've taken the economic risk. And this is what a lot of people don't realize is that in our communities, we've gotten, like, there's this thing that we do where we malign people for making money. Oh, they're just doing it to make money. Like, well,
Right.
you're going to your 9 to 5 to make money. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it can't be maligning someone because they're having an event where they want to make money. The point of the matter is that when we criticize people, please understand where the critique is coming from. Are you coming from the low hanging fruit of division and this vulture mentality of eating a carcass, or are you coming with critiques so that we can be better? See, those are two different types of critiques, man. So I'll just say that from what I've seen and what I've looked at, and I don't know everything. Like the brother who has commented on here, I don't want to get his name wrong, but he's made some great comments about what the specific um, requests were, and it seems like he's dug deep into this and understands it a lot more in terms of some of the details. Yeah, his brother's name Hanak Amaru.
Mhm.
Salute to you for providing, some of the pieces of the information. But what I just want to say is that I am in full support of. I don't know the brothers personally. I don't really watch their show too much. Yesterday, I watched some of their show when they were talking about Micron and different investing on Market Mondays that they do, and I found that what they were talking about was very sound. Like, I might not agree with everything, but um, I like the fact that they're putting this conversation on the table where our people can start being interested and excited about investing as we are in celebrity gossip. So,
Mm.
to me, man, I just want to salute the brothers. And whether they're doing it and they say, oh, this ain't just for black folks, this ain't for white folks, those of us who are Pan Africanists, black power people, we don't like, here's the thing. I don't expect someone who's not a Pan Africanist to engage in Pan Africanist activity. Other words, like, I'm not looking for every black person to be pro black unity or black power or Pan Africanism, all that, unless you declare it. Because I learned that early in my like development in the political like black consciousness world, is that you can't expect all your people to be what you are, right?
Right.
Like, don't expect a Christian, a proclaimed Christian, to engage in Ramadan fasting,
Right.
right?
Be mad at
So,
that.
so I don't know about the brother. I think his name is Bilal. I don't know if he was a black power person to begin with. Maybe he was just a universalism person
He
who
was
just,
not. He
yeah.
was
So
not.
maybe
He
maybe he
stops.
wasn't.
Right. He stops at a 19 keys. Right. People
Hmm.
like me and Blue are completely. They don't rock with us. It's too black for them. They made it clear. They do
Right,
not step over that line.
right.
It
So,
stops at 19 keys. And to be honest with you, if they were not aligned with 19 keys, and it's not like 19 keys is the most black power or the most revolutionary of that bunch, right? But
hmm,
if they were not even rock, yeah, they did speak on that. They touched on that as well.
hmm. Oh,
And
and
then they got
also,
EYL Africa. So
yes, yes. I
that's
want to
where the
salute them for
problems are
that.
coming in. I have to speak on that statement that he
Okay.
made, to whereas I have to withdraw my support until that is cleared up properly. It hasn't been cleared up yet. So when he said that I'm not on a black thing and that
Hmm.
EYL is not a black brand, that's where I had to that's where he drew the that's where I had to draw the line,
Hmm.
right? So once again, their brand is not just one person, right? Their brand, and the way that I see it, it expands to Ian, right?
Hmm.
Ian, was Ian O'Connor,
I think it's
um,
Dunlap, Ian
Ian
Dunlap.
Dunlap. Sorry,
Hmm.
yes,
It's all right.
Ian Dunlap,
Hmm.
and then Troy, and then Rashad, right?
Right.
Rashad was the one that made the statement, and it hasn't been refuted or it hasn't been spoken out against by the other partners,
Hmm.
right? The way that he cleared it up, it wasn't necessarily, it was very arrogant,
Hmm.
and it was filled with a lot of emotions that didn't necessarily, it was like, well, I did this for the community and I did that, and I platformed Yaki and I platformed Queen Afua and I platformed 19 Key. And it's like, no, fam, say sorry,
Hmm.
admit that you spoke out of your feelings, and keep it moving. All of that
Right.
extra shit, that's
Right.
gonna put you
So
further.
his apology wasn't humble. That's
Nah, it
what you
wasn't
feel.
sincere enough. It wasn't
Okay.
sincere. And it was like, you made a bad, that statement right there was horrible, because at the end of the day, based off of what black people have been going through just in this last year with the DEI, just in this last year, I don't want to be in no room with no white folks. I'm sorry. I don't want to
Hmm.
be in no room with no eight. I'm not, that's not, I'm not there for that.
Right.
I showed up over these past years because that shit was melanated. And
Okay.
if you start to pivot in any other direction, I was already side eyeing the fact that you bringing on Morgan, you know what I mean? And y'all hailing them up like this is somebody that we supposed to be looking at in reverence. Like, fam, y'all are losing your way with that.
Hmm.
This is a black event, and this shit needs to stay a black event. And we need to be, it's 30,000 of us banging on these mother effing doors on Wall Street. They need to see that. Fuck you talking about. That's what that's where I start saying, now you
Okay.
losing me.
Right. So your stance is that so your stance is that until that's cleared up, your support is going to be withdrawn from them. And what was that support? You mean like attending events or speaking about their platforms kindly? Like what are you withdrawing? Like tangibly?
Tangibly, I just have to I can't defend. And I wasn't on the defense team. I was an attendee. I'm branded because I've been there on multiple occasions, and it's like, yo, Red goes to the Invest Fest. Red speaks positively about Invest Fest. I didn't do the ultra critique and video Invest Fest video from within their brand,
Mm-hmm.
right? But when he made that statement and the way that he made it and the connotations in which it was made, it was like, fam, you now for the people that even critiquing you, you got Boulay critiquing you, but you made a statement that made the Boulay look good. That's problematic to me. Now you got these Boulay Negroes because once again, the people that are inside of Atlanta critiquing, I'm gonna ask them, where the fuck is your conference at? Where give me the receipts on how you helping black businesses in Atlanta? Where can I wake up in Atlanta and go to and make money with black people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where we're investing, we're learning about things, we're learning about technology. Black children that are out here suffering, that are being killed in the streets. Where can I go and you could show me and point to me where they're being taken care of? I don't know where that's at.
Mm-hmm.
That's not in Atlanta. They got Magic City Mondays. These niggas is standing behind strip clubs. This is a nightclub city. Every night in Atlanta, millions of dollars get blown on nigger shit. Right?
Okay.
This is what
Talk.
they push. This is what they promote out here. It gets blown on strip clubs, bottle
Right.
service, gambling, motherfucking, all of the dumb shit, studio sessions for people to go in there and mumble about dumb shit. There's no investment going on in Atlanta. A lot of the real estates that's taking place. I read the names and I Google them. It's not us. It's
Mm-hmm.
not us. The homelessness is skyrocketing. Why does nobody say, yo, let's just open up a factory and take all of this sweat equity, these are men, these are able-bodied men laying on the streets. Why is nobody bringing them to work? Why did New Black Wall Street close? Why did nobody support that? Why didn't the mayor talk about that? Why didn't fucking Isaac Hayes III talk about that? Why does Killer Mike not talk about that? Nobody did that. All of these people, oh, I bought all of this land. When you ain't build on it, the fuck you talking about? You're not building nothing. So it's like, homie, he that's what I'm saying. The leader, I'm looking at flaws in their leadership. Why does Rashad not have leader? Why does he not have a PR team around him? Where's the leadership? He doesn't have nobody that he answers to. You just getting out there saying shit out of emotions, and you got all of these quote unquote. You got all of this. You got all of this power and prestige and all of this, but you're not. Nobody can tell you how to talk on your platform. Nah, I find that problematic. I
Right.
find
So
that
that would probably
problematic.
be amongst his partners, right? The brothers that he's in
Partners,
partnership with
right?
to actually caucus with him and see what's going on. Yeah. So like I said, man, I don't want to spend too much more time on this because I know a lot of people tuned in to get into the ism of these trading positions that we have. But I did want to cover it because I think that is something that is out there and people are talking about. And we definitely, I wanted to get your perspective because you actually attended the conference. I have not attended the conference. You've actually met the brothers. I have not met the brothers. So
Right,
this was really a conversation we could have had privately that we're having publicly. I just
right,
wanted to hear your perspective though, because I think that you have a very unique perspective that
right.
needs to be taken seriously about this particular conversation, you know?
And once again, my perspective and my vantage point is from a marketplace slash vendors perspective. That's where I speak positively, and that's where I would speak to. I would say that it's two football fields inside of the Invest Fest. One football field stadium is the conferences and the workshops and things of that nature. Great, kudos. That's for people to show up for that. Then there's another football field size stadium, and that's called the marketplace. That's based off of businesses and brands, right? This is where content is created. This is where the quote unquote businesses, small businesses, big businesses, they all congregate in one space. This is where customers and supporters get to see their favorite brands and whatnot, get to meet the people face to face. They get to shake hands, they get to hug, whatever, take pictures, all of that type of stuff. I witnessed the buying power, the selling power. I witnessed the power of people creating powerful displays. There was so much energy in that marketplace that it completely flatlined any other experience that I had over the past 6 months. When I went to Herald Square, when I went to Times Square, when I went to Bayfront Mall, when I went to the Galleria in Houston, all of these malls are dead, and we're not even in those malls. The energy inside of these malls, the energy inside of all of these retail businesses are flat. When I was in the marketplace, however, and I saw how our people was basically had their setups and everything, I was thoroughly impressed. I was elated. I was like, you know what? Even to the point where we created a proposal that we're handing over to Ian Dunlap, right? Because me and Blue and a few other people, our whole thing was, and we also handing it over to Andre Dickinson inside of Atlanta, the mayor, because we were like, look, this needs to be an incubator. This needs
Mhm.
to be an incubator. We need an incubator. We don't need to have this once a year. If this is Atlanta, the city of black business and the city of the entrepreneur and whatnot, why is this not every day? Can we select at least 50 businesses and bring them through an incubator like Y Combinator or an accelerator, so we could forge these businesses into corporations, so we could basically get them on the quote unquote stock market.
Mhm.
Yesterday's show, the brother Spin City asked a question. He said about 70 some odd years ago, there were like 50 black businesses. There were I don't know if it was a Fortune 500. I'm not 100% sure. It might have been a NASDAQ or something, but he said today there's about six of them.
Mhm.
We got LLCs, but we don't have corporations. We don't have no businesses that are offering shares and equities and things of that nature that we could literally get behind and support as a collective. This needs to change. So,
Well, one caveat:
yeah,
we will be having shares offered for Herbal Results Industries next year. So
Ashe,
we do
that
have
Ashe,
we
yes.
have that we have that. We're actually on stage two, and we'll be having a meeting in the next 2 weeks for our investors. For stage one has closed, and we're moving to stage two investment for Herbal Results Industry. We always want to bring things back home to practical um, levels. At Herbal Results Industries, we will be offering private shares in the next year or so, and these shares will be used to build facilities around diagnostic equipment and factories and what have you. So we will be one of the black companies that actually do offer stocks to people on a private level. You'll be able to get them for like less than $1 a share, and then we'll be doing an IPO in the years to come, so that you already are a private investor in the company. And then when we do an IPO, that's where you make your windfall. So just like SpaceX happened and all these other companies, I'm going to make sure that particularly the folks who tune into our show religiously, you'll be able to buy shares into Herbal Results, where we're reversing all types of illnesses. You like what we're doing, you can become an investor. We've already had level one investment that has been closed. That's been over. Investors have been paid back or rolled into level two. In the next 2 to 3 weeks, we will be having a comprehensive meeting for Herbal Results, and all past investors and new investors, people who want to invest in level two. And those of you all, I didn't mean to cut you off, but what you said was so important. But I wanted to make sure that people know that these ideas that Red Pill is talking about, they're more than just ideas, that we're actually doing these things because we know what needs to be done. And what we're not going to do is we're not going to wait for other people to do it, right? Earn
Right.
your leisure. Earn your leisure may have their avenue in what they do,
You can't
and
do everything.
they can't do everything. So these incubators that need to be done, some of these concepts that might not need to be done at the Invest Fest, um, we have to take it upon ourselves to make happen what we think needs to happen. I would love to see like basically like an investment panel where entrepreneurs can pitch their companies live at InvestFest, and people, investors are there, and people can buy shares into the company or do, loans for the company at, certain interest rates. That would be a next level to take it. That's where I would be interested. And if I
Right.
could assist the brothers in any way, that's how I would, actually get involved in something like InvestFest. Or you start your own, right? Either you plug in with the brothers and bring something to the table that you think could be done at the next Invest Fest, and if they're open to it, maybe you can
Right.
lead that. But if they're not going to do it because maybe they got their hands in too many different things, there's nothing stopping us from doing it ourselves and doing what we think needs to be done. So I always want
Right.
people to know that there's agency, and that we're not into just critiquing to critique. We're critiquing to make things happen, and we're willing to actually put our hands in the soil to make it happen.
Well, I
Along the
want to
lines,
connect with you about that because
yeah,
we're writing
absolutely,
proposals right now. We're in the proposals phase, and they're open to
absolutely,
receiving them.
yeah, man,
Yeah, we have
absolutely,
an avenue.
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I like the infrastructure they put together. We may not agree with what the brother said, and maybe he can backpedal a little bit. Um, he's probably dealing with some emotions, but I mean, I think what he's proven with the platform, or what the platform has proven outside of his words, is that, okay, here's two things. Let me stop sharing this and just speak to the people real quick. There are people who would say this isn't just for black folks. And then there are people who are going to say this is strictly for black folks, right?
Yeah.
Person A, who says this is not just for black folks, may have changed the lives of 1,000 black families. Whereas the person who says this is just for black folks hasn't changed the life of one black family, and it's just rhetoric. Like, let's just look at the results. And I know what the result is. Outside of what the brother actually said that we may be offended by, that you have every right to be offended by what he said, right?
Right.
I'm not even debating that. But let's just look at, like, tangibly. Has Earn Your Leisure been a net positive for black folks worldwide? That's the question I like to ask. Has it been a net positive?
I
I
would
think
say
the
yes.
answer is yes. So, irrespective of what he says, just like the other way around, you got white folks who say, "Oh, we did this, da, 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 for black," and then you look at the real results, and they've been a net negative. Like the white liberals, right? They'll say that they're on the side of black folks, whatever, but like they're the ones who promoted the prison bills and all of these types of things that set our people back, right?
Yeah.
I'm less interested in what someone says as opposed to the results of their platform or what they do. And so the reason why I'm not burning a fire hard on Earn Your Leisure is because, from my assessment, until I can hear differently, they've actually been a net positive for our people,
Hmm.
right? And so if someone has a platform that's a net positive, so it's like me and you, Red Pill. We may not agree on everything, right? But I'm never going to say that Red Pill has not been a net positive. And I don't think that you would ever say that anything I'm doing is not a net positive for our people. We may have disagreements here and there, but I don't think that the disagreements should stop us from working together and moving forward towards our goal of complete sovereignty, liberation, and non dependence. And if we all can agree on that, and we know that each other's platform has been a net positive, I think that's the time when we close in ranks and work with each other. And I like what you're saying, that you're presenting. You see, and I want people to understand, when mature adults have conversations, this is what it looks like. Red Pill has told you he didn't like what the brother said, but he can still tell you it was a net positive. And within that, he's saying that he's writing proposals to these brothers to make it better instead of tearing them down.
Yes.
There's a difference. You see, this is the difference when people become mature adults and we make assessments. Is that Red Pill can openly tell you, I don't like what the brother said, but I'm still going to put a proposal to make the platform and the yearly event better because it's a net positive for our people. And that's the way that we have to operate with each other. Because many of you report to 9 to 5s every day, and you work side by side with people you don't like, but you're working to help build the company that you're working for.
That's
So what
right.
I'm saying is that if we're working for the benefit of our people, sometimes we have to hold our nose when we work with certain members of our people who may say something that we don't like, but if our assessment is that their platform and what they're doing generally is a net positive for our people, we'll work with them for the greater goal, because we have worked with people we don't like in our 9 to 5 for a paycheck. Okay, so what I'm saying is that it is not necessary for us to agree on everything for us to move forward. And I think that that is what has stopped us, because there's been ego and immaturity. That if we have one disagreement, all of a sudden now me and Red Pill can't do a show anymore and bring value to our people, which
Right.
is ridiculous. So I like your
Ridiculous.
approach, and I like what you said. I just wanted to point out to people the behavior of adults and not the behavior of children. And that what Red Pill has said, he gave you an honest assessment from somebody who didn't get rumor and innuendo. He went to the Invest Fest. He went to the space. He saw the people. He saw the interactions. He saw the lectures. He saw everything. So he's not speaking out of turn. He's giving you his assessment. He's let you know he's not happy with the brother said by this is not a black event. But he did not discard the brother completely and try to disparage the brother and say he's not qualified to talk and blah 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 and try to pick the brother apart. What did Red Pill do? I'm going to write a proposal on how we can make this better, and we're
Right.
going to present it to Earn Your Leisure. And that's where the rubber meets the road, and where we become a different people. Where
Right.
if we still stay the same people who we have been, which is just the excitement of tearing each other down, we keep losing. The way we keep winning is, brother, I don't agree with what you said, but here's a proposal to make the thing that you're doing better, because I believe that what you're doing is a net positive. And honestly, from what I'm seeing from the brother, I think he was hurt. And I think that for him to hear, like, okay, I don't agree with what you're doing, but the platform that you've built with your blood, sweat, and tears for 8 years has been a net positive for our people. And here's my proposal to make it even better. I think that that would be better received, because the brother was obviously hurt. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think anyone could say that he don't care about black folks, even if he
Right.
said that, because of the work that he's done and the benefits for the families who have invested in in the investment picks that they've had. They obviously care about our people. Whether they got frustrated one day and spoke out of turn, that's one thing, and no, he shouldn't have done that. But
Right.
the assessment is the platform a net positive for our people? And if it is a net positive, we have to try to support in any way that we can, and that's where I'm at with it. Right?
Nah, I feel you. I ended on this statement,
Yeah.
right? We were inside of the marketplace with maybe 5,000 of our melanated counterparts. There's no room for no one else in that building, right? There's only room for more black businesses, right? Because even with those 5,000 businesses, it took me 3 days to even see all of those businesses. It still was not enough. I don't want to make room for no other nationality. This event is a black event. It's the
Mhm.
blackest of black events. I don't know what homie is going through, but he needs to get over it.
Yeah.
Go on vacation. Now I'm
Exactly.
saying take a few days off and
Exactly.
recenter, because this is the blackest event. This is our shit. This is
Right.
not to be shared. This is not to be bartered. This is not to be handed out. And no, you can't treat that like that. We not swirling with our businesses. I'm not walking into no
Uh,
marketplace and share spaces with no damn Asians and Indians and Caucasians. I'm sorry, they got their own shit.
yeah, and they
Bottom
don't really,
line,
and they
if they
definitely
want to
don't
come
share
and
with
hand out
us.
money to us or something, then they may be welcome. But other
Yeah.
than that, that's a humongous no on my end. I'm not with none of that. We
Right.
don't that man needs to be talked to, because when I walked around that marketplace, there was
Hmm.
no flaws in what I saw. In all of these black, I don't know what the hell he's looking at. But all
Nah,
you saw was
man.
beautiful black faces, and
No, but he
he's
got
been getting
clouded.
attacked
He got
every year.
Yeah, he got. I think what happened, bro, is, and it happens to us, man. And I've been able to sit down. I've been fortunate to be able to sit down with elders who are very well known in the black. The Dr. Benz and the John Henry Clarks and these types of people. And when you talk to people privately, man, sometimes people end up getting what I is a term that I call ethnic fatigue.
Ethnic fatigue. I like that.
Yeah, ethnic fatigue. And what happens is that amongst your people, you feel like you get beat down by your own people so much and that it hurts so much that you just feel alienated from your people. And it's a phase that you go through. And anyone who's done any serious work in our community would understand that. And I'm sure you've understood that. We just might not say it publicly.
Yes.
We're just like, and honestly, forget the black thing sometimes. I don't even want to deal with human beings sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, there are
Yes.
times where I'm just like, you know what? I need to disengage from human beings for like a month. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, because of some of the things that you get from human
Fatigue.
behavior, yeah, you get fatigue. And I think that what happened was, like when you start a YouTube channel and you start, broadcasting, what do? You start reading the comments, right? And
Mhm.
you might get 100 positive comments, but then there's just one person that says something negative, and all your energy goes towards that person. I think that that's what happened to that brother, was that he was focused on all the negative comments, and that set him off. Like, you know what? Our people don't even appreciate what I'm doing. That's I'm sure that that's how he felt, and that's why he came out the way that he came out. Like, they don't even appreciate what I'm doing. And so I'm sensitive to the fact that our people can suffer ethnic fatigue, man,
I know, but
because
Brother Heru,
yeah,
with 30,000 people,
I agree.
I understand and I get it, but
Yeah,
when 30,000 people is showing you
yeah,
love, and that's
yeah.
just the people that showed up,
You can't
you
disregard the
got yeah,
love.
yeah, you have to develop a thicker skin. He's acting light
Yes.
skin. I'm sorry, man. You know what I'm saying? This nigga's
Yes.
acting light skin, and I'm sorry to even say it like that. You gotta form thicker skin. They was attacking them every year. They got critiques. You just have to be prepared for the critique. Nigga, go count that money, bro. Get out your feelings because you destroying your brand like that. You got people like me ready to just back off. Like, yo, you know what? I put my energy behind somebody else, just a little more thicker skin, bro.
Right.
Because I can't. Because once you reveal that part of yourself that you getting tender, what else is gonna come about that?
Nah, I
Where's
feel
your
you.
celebrity friends at? If you brought all of these people, you brought 1,000 celebrities, but none of them could help you with your feelings. You don't got nobody you could pick up the phone and be like, yo, Steve, I'm getting attacked. Yo, my people is attacking me. I need to bring the
Yeah.
Avengers of these celebrity niggas.
Yeah.
Let's get a round table. Let's do a Zoom call. I need y'all to give me some insight.
Yeah. And
That's
so
showing a lack of leadership. And
yeah,
that's
and
where people, that's the flaw that I'm seeing.
yeah, and I think it was a lack of media training. Honestly speaking, like, you can't go on and say that. And here's the deal. This is what the sister in Zinga posts. It reminds of the quote, if you live for the applause, you will die by the booze. And
Mm.
let that be a cautionary tale and instructive, that, listen, man, you could be doing something in 30, and we've all been victim of this. I have been victim of this. I've been a victim of this in this show, where I get 100 great comments and then one person says something crazy, and then I focus on that person for the next 20 minutes. You know what I mean? When there have been positive statements all throughout. So I've learned to ignore the negativity and just focus on the positivity, and let this be a cautionary tale for everybody, man. Like, here's the deal. Um, we're all connected in human behavior that you see in other people. There's a piece of it in you. There's a piece of it in me. And what we've
Yes.
got to do is we've got to temper it. And so what I'm saying is that the brother, what's his name? His name is Bilal or something like that.
Rashad Bilal.
Yeah, Rashad. Here's let this be, maybe that's what this show is about today. But let this be instructive for you, me, in your life. Listen to what the sister in Zinga Onuwo-san, big up in Zinga, she says, if the quote is, if you live for the applause, you will die by the booze. We have
That was the
seen,
bar.
yes, that's a bar. So we see that the brother Rashad Bilal, or Bilal Rashad, I don't want to say his name wrong. he fell victim to this, and we all fall victim to it.
We
He
do.
is publicly paying the price for it with this type of talking and people saying they don't want to deal with him anymore. But the same people who say they don't want to deal with him anymore have also fallen victim to the same quote. We
Mm.
all have fallen. He's just fallen victim to it, and it's public right now. But we all, how many of us focus on the negativity more than the positivity? There are people living in $1 million home with access to a beach, and they're waking up in the morning complaining because one person says something they didn't like. They actually have now completely overlooked all the good in their life and focused on just the negative. And what I'm saying is that we can criticize Rashad Bilal as much as we want, but we have all been guilty of doing and succumbing to what he just succumbed to. Listen to what Red Pill said, y'all. 30,000 people came for 3 days in a row and paid to come. That's love. And coming off that event, that love that you got was completely obfuscated by the voice of a few people who were picking at you and criticizing you. And that became the narrative and not the success of the 30,000 people who came 3 days in a row to show you love. How many of us can look at our lives and say, we've fallen victim to that? I know I have.
I
And
have.
I'm
Can
and
I?
I'm working on it. And I'm
Yes.
working on it. All of us, we have to work on these things where we've got positive things around us that we're completely ignoring and only focusing on the negative things. Just like in the Black community, there are people in our community who are doing positive things, and we completely pay them no attention, no mind, show them no anything, and we just focus on the negative things every single day. So let this be a metaphor for all of us to understand that focus on the stuff that's positive and the things that's showing you the love and the things that are giving you forward progress. And these other things, the negative things, the negative words, let them fall by the wayside. Because if you don't, you end up falling into the trap the brother Bilal fell into. It happens to all of us.
So it's a learning lesson you're saying for those of us that are
Yes.
in the quote unquote spotlight.
Yes, I think that his what happened with him is greater than him.
Mm.
It is actually a metaphor of what happens to all of us on a daily basis in many different ways. We may have loving people around us, but our day is ruined when one negative person says one negative thing, and then that affects us and poisons us towards the people who've been showing us love. That's what happened to him.
Yo, that is
Think
so on
about
point,
that.
my brother. Because Lord have mercy, this is a lesson for everybody to learn in not just celebrity, but this new era that we live in, the attention economy,
Yes.
right? That negativity, hate, or critique, when it's not that constructive, we have to admit how detrimental that is to our emotional bodies and our mental health. Because even me saying what I'm saying to the brother, I still have to take account of how I've been affected in certain situations. You know, I've crashed
Exactly.
out. You feel me?
Exactly.
I don't think that
Exactly.
I don't know if my crash outs have been on such a big stage, but I've definitely crashed out. I was ready to crash out the other day when I read a negative comment
Yes.
off of a video that I posted
Yes.
of a
We've
of a
all been
music
there.
of a music video that I did, and a brother left it. I know the brother too, and he don't support. He never bought nothing from me, but he put a paragraph in the comment section like, "Yeah, Red, this you could do better than this. This shit looks horrible." Da 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 da. Da.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I've heard other things from you in the past. You need to put more effort in everything. And I'm like, I know where it's coming from. You
Hmm.
want a reaction. You feel me? You
Yes.
just
Yes.
trolling right now. But if
Yes.
I could dish it, can I take it? Even
Yes.
though I don't put no paragraphs in nobody's stuff doing passive aggressive or what I call sassy aggressive kind of comments. I'll just get right at you. You know what I mean? And it's like, whatever. But
Hmm.
this is what we signed up for. You don't even know if it's bots from Botswana sometimes getting at you because
You
yeah,
don't
they rage
know. You
bait on
don't
the
even know if
internet
this
all
is
day.
real. Yeah, you don't know if this is real people. But this is even greater than people who are in the media or people broadcasting. This is for the average individual in our lives. How many times have we allowed the dictatorship of the negative? What I mean by that is listen to what Red Pill said. And I want people to really pay attention to this. Maybe this is the message of the show today. How many times have we allowed look at this. 30,000 people come. He completely ignores the love from the 30,000 people and focuses on the negativity for maybe, let's just call it 100 people,
100, yeah.
right? What has he done? He's actually become, his emotions have become undemocratic. What I mean by that is that he has weighted the vote of 100 people for his emotions more than the vote of 30,000 people.
Mm.
So what has happened is he's allowed a dictatorship of the minority to rule his emotions. And so this should be a cautionary tale for all of us when we look at our lives and what we have to be grateful for. A lot of us have a lot to be grateful for, and we focus on the negatives, which end up being the small things, and we let the numeric quantity of the good things be eclipsed by a dictatorship of the small things. This is what happened to him. And it is a learning moment for all of us to understand that, listen, you may have 30,000 positive things in your life that you are completely overlooking because of one bad comment or one criticism or one enemy or one detractor. And you're focusing all of your emotions on that and not taking into account the love that you're getting from so many other people. You know what I'm saying? We do it all the time. We crash out. He crashed out. He's none different than me crashing out on something that some comment someone might have made a month ago. And I give 20, 30 minutes to that person when we've got a whole audience of people who are trying to get this ism on trading or whatever. And someone might have said something bad about Africa. And now I'm just going off. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what triggered me. But we've got 1,000 other people living who are pro what I'm talking about. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of time we give more attention to the negative detractors than we give to the positive supporters. And so let us all make a pledge within ourselves to catch ourselves whenever we fall ourselves slipping into that type of behavioral pattern. Because what we saw what happened to the brother is he has put in work for our people. His platform has put in work for our people. And he's received love in return for it. He's received reciprocity. But he completely overlooked that 30,000 people reciprocity to focus on the 100 people detractors. And we can't allow ourselves to get caught in that. So hopefully this will
Or
be a learning lesson for all of us.
right, or he could be he could be he could be getting critiqued by groups of people who are seeing patterns and noticing, they're seeing something familiar, right? And they're calling it out as they see it, right? In the hood, we call it going Hollywood, right?
Hmm.
Or getting big headed, right? Or basically, kind of like showing your hand, right? That could also be some of what we may be witnessing and whatnot, right?
Mm,
And then it's just more people are beginning to notice this.
yeah.
And then when you make a statement, like the statement that was made, because it's going to be to walk that statement back is going to take at least an hour or two show. There has to be a recommitment to the black community. There has to be an assurance that that statement will never, quote unquote, be said again and it won't grow legs. This is not what your intentions are. He's going to have to the clean up on that, clean up on aisle six. It has to be more severe than a soundbite
Yeah.
because that is going to that's that we're at a pivotal point at this point because I will never support I will not support ambiguous brand. I'm not going to support no type of brand that's super ambiguous, that's trying to get into bed with other races and other nationalities when we're at the back of the race right now. That's
Yeah.
not how we going to do it.
Yeah, and your position is a reasonable position. Like it's a reasonable position. And you have a right to have that position because you've been a stakeholder. You've been a participant, you've put money into their platform, you've attended their See, there's a lot of people who have a lot to say about this and never been to an invest fest, have never put any like skin in the game when it comes to earn your leisure or whatever, but they got a million things to say. So you're in a different place because you've actually attended, you've put money into their pockets, you've set up booths and all of that. So you have a right as a stakeholder to state your opinion as to what offended you, just like a stockholder has a right to have opinion on the company that they invested in. So yeah, you've invested in them, so you're quite different than other people who've never even attended there and they're just looking for an opportunity to criticize. So yeah, hopefully he cleans it up. But for me, I'm always looking for the lesson. And the
Yeah.
lesson is I've seen myself in that spot. Not as severe to go public and trash our people and all that, but I've been frustrated. I focused on the negative comments that people might have made over the positive comments. And so it let me know that all of us have to do the extra work to keep that in check. We have to keep that in check because here's what ends up happening. We end up disrespecting those who love us and have been positive towards us. That's what ends up happening, is that we focus on the negative so much that we completely ignore the people who've been supporting us and been giving us love. And those are the people that have to be, you know, invested in. Those are the people that we have to pour into. We can't pour into the negative detractors. And there is so much temptation to do it, but it's part of growing, y'all. It's part of growing that the detractors are always going to be there. But the question is, the people who love us, are they getting the attention that they need from us? And the answer is usually no, because we're focused on negativity so much. And so I see a part of Rashad in myself,
Right.
because I've seen myself crash out,
I
whether
have
it's
as well.
publicly or privately. So I'm not even taking this as a Rashad problem. I'm taking it as an us problem and a human problem where we will completely overlook the positive and focus on the negative. And so hopefully he cleans it up. But at the end of the day, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. And I think that, there's still a great platform, but there do needs to be some conversation where he can be a little bit less in protecting his ego and really just talk about the frustrations, man, that happens at times when, you're trying to do something positive for people who haven't won in a long time. So we start engaging in the negative, losing behaviors, and it's going to take a lot of winning to snap us out of losing behaviors. So that's where I'm at
Yes,
with it.
I
So we're
agree.
here to win, but it was a great conversation, man.
Man, I'm this is like therapy for me, man. I really nah, because I have, sometimes you could bottle up your thoughts and you don't have somebody to really dialogue with,
hmm
the same way that me and you would have dialogued in private.
hmm
I appreciate the fact that we got on this platform and dialogued in public. This is a public build. We didn't just dialogue amongst ourselves, we dialogue with our community. So this was more like a town hall meeting.
hmm
And I feel that is a very important subject and whatnot, because, like you said earlier, this is something that we could relate to, and we could see this in any one of our quote unquote platforms and brands and whatnot. You know what I mean? But I feel that the conversation was very mature. It was not one sided and whatnot. You feel me? I would introduce and I would welcome any individual who may be out there who has stronger talking points that may be leaning a little bit more on the harsh critique. I'd be willing to entertain or to definitely platform anybody that has more insight, you know what I'm saying, or
hmm
thoughtful insight into the situation. But yeah, ultimately Saturn is in retrograde for those of us that are, tapped into the cosmos. Now I'm you no, Saturn is,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
things that I'm learning,
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Talk the
Saturn is
things.
Saturn
Talk
in
the
right
things,
now.
man. Yeah, man.
And
Yeah, man.
you know, I would name this episode not black fatigue. What did you call it?
Ethnic fatigue.
Ethnic fatigue. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's a slippery slope. And it's not just black or white. It has different levels to it.
No, I feel you. Yeah, man. I feel you. Like I said, man. You are a stakeholder because you've attended the events. I have not. So I take what you say very seriously, from a stakeholder point of view. And I just think that this was a conversation to have. And what I extrapolated from it was, he fell victim to what we all fall victim to, which is focusing on the negative and not the positive, and allowing a dictatorship of the negative to get into your mind. You said it very clearly. 30,000 people attending your event is love. And to come off of that event and not see that as the overall arching narrative, is a problem. And we've all fallen into that, so all of us have been victim of overlooking the positive things around us and focusing overly on the negative things, so it's a work in progress, man. But like I said, at the end of the day, um, I'm doing what I'm doing. I have my
Yes.
own worldview. I'm a Pan-Africanist, and so there are things that are expected of me. I don't expect things from other people who are not Pan Africanists, or pro Black. I just don't expect it from our people unless someone has like openly and notoriously said, "This is what I'm standing on, and this is what I'm about." Now it's like, okay, are you consistent with what you're standing on? Again, I don't know the brother. I don't know his political perspective. I don't know, like,
Right.
outside of like buying stocks, I don't know what his worldview is. I don't know how he feels about, different politics, where he may be a Democrat or a Republican or into that type of stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know. But at the end of the day, they build a platform, an institution, and I think it's a net positive for our people. In any way I could assist them in any growth activities, I would love to, assist them in any way, if I could lend my voice in any way. But, the brother has to sit down with Red Pill and get Red Pill comfortable, as a stakeholder. And this is what you have to do when you say things that are offensive to people. You didn't really mean it, or you were just wiling out. The people who need to hear you say words of contrition, they have a right to demand that. So, hopefully you and the brother Red Pill get an opportunity to talk, because you have a powerful platform. And if you're not feeling it, it can affect, their bottom line as well. So, it would be good if you and the brother Bilal could actually have a nice one-on-one conversation to, see where he's at, and to see if, he's able to be at least issuing some type of contrition that makes you and other people comfortable to attend the next one and to support them. But I think that it'll be all right, because you're doing the right thing, Red Pill, by giving them a proposal. Hey, this is how we can make it better. It just shows that you're not a detractor. It shows that you're actually looking to build, as opposed to just criticize. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Because I feel the same way that you do, because I see more of the importance of the brand and the platform than I would say the detriment of the
right,
or said platform. No, I know people personally that are employed by them, and I ain't talking about 19 Keys. I know family friends who have been working side by side with them over the years, that they basically scooped up and changed their lives. Um, I'm invested in what EYL Africa has to offer. I would love to see you, my brother, in the EYL platform, an Invest Fest in Africa or an Invest Fest in the UK. I would love to see what you're doing. I would love to see you on one of those stages. I love that stage that they built. You feel me? I know
yeah,
how powerful that stage is. I just want to see the right people on said stage with the right quote unquote message.
Right.
Also, I also want to say to Sister Nzinga, that statement that you made, I put that on my Instagram. That made prime time. You know what I mean? Like I had to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was the statement of the show. If you
Hmm.
live for the applause,
You
you
will
will die by
die
the
by the
boo.
booze. Yep.
And what does that ultimately mean for any of us that are out here in what we call social media that have a public image and whatnot? We always gotta, use people's mistakes and their quote unquote shortcomings as a lesson for what you should not be doing, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's for those of us who have our necks out there, for those of us that are living for the applause, you need a reality check. That's not what you signed up for. That's not what this is about. You could lose yourself in what they call fame, and that's a drug. It's deadly. That's not what we signed up for. Pan-Africanists should not be chasing fame.
Hmm.
Pan-Africanists should not be chasing applauses and whatnot.
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah, look what
Not to say
Nzinga
that
writes.
everybody is that.
Hmm.
Revolutionaries, Pan-Africanists, master teachers, scholars. I'm speaking to my people right now.
Hmm.
They get caught up in this social media, this internet thing, and they're losing focus. Once you put your neck out there, yeah, you're gonna get eventually there's gonna come a day where you are going to get drowned out by the boo. So always be mindful of that. Do you really want that? Or do you know that the power really rests in the person behind the camera and not in front of the camera? Can you be quiet in the cut and make something really pop off? Can you be a part of the team where you're not the person that's on the stage and whatnot and still be effective in things of that nature? Do you always need somebody to like something? Do you always, every day, do you need to be in front? You see, I don't even got my camera on. I don't
Hmm.
care about none of that. I don't need
Hmm.
to be seen. I need
Right.
to be heard, though.
Right.
There's a difference between the two. I need to be heard. When it's time for me to be seen, I'll be seen. But I need to make that as rare as possible. I don't need to be all in the camera and that there's nothing that comes with that.
Right.
So yeah, I just leave it at that. But yeah, I really appreciate the conversation.
Yeah, man. And then Zinga says, I had my biggest weeks as a business. I let one person whose claims were false take me out of my character and I crashed out privately instead of celebrating my biggest win. Exactly. We allow a dictatorship of the negativity over, the positive, democracy of positivity, right? The positivity should have more votes than the negativity in your life, in your emotions. And so once we can govern ourselves that way, we'll all do well. And if the brother had governed himself that way as well, he would never have said what he said publicly. But we
And
all
I'll
do
also
crash
add
out.
this: the
Yes.
internet is not a real place.
Right.
Right? The internet is not a real place. People are developing levels of psychosis because they're tapping into an artificial reality. Before artificial intelligence, they created artificial reality, and that is social media and that is the internet. Please, once again, and I would tell this brother the same thing. You was getting love in the real world and you crashed out because you tapped into the fake world, this artificial world, right? Where people troll and they sit behind anonymous screens and they even have bots running around. Computer love, the dead internet theory. The internet is not a real place.
Correct.
Stop putting it's hard to tell a person to not put their emotions and their feelings into it. But Lord have mercy. This is the matrix. Move accordingly.
Yep.
Because I don't, and not too many people gonna yell in your face in the real world and spit in your face and tell you, yo, I don't like your nose and all of this crazy stuff. That's stuff that they're doing in the Matrix and whatnot. So a lot
Hmm.
of us have to unplug and get into the real world. Put that phone down, turn that computer off, roll around in
Hmm.
the grass and whatnot. Get a real hug. God damn it, get a massage if you need some interaction, if you need some physical contact. Tap into the real world, because in the real world, you're gonna find more love than you're gonna find in the matrix.
Yep. And on that, let's move on to the ism that we have to share with you all around this
Yes, let's
this
do that.
trading and this. But this was a very good conversation, and hopefully it was a learning moment for all of us. You know, like anytime you see someone doing things that are wrong or things that are bad, you have to see like what is the learning lesson here for you, because we all become we're not infallible. So we all do exhibit some of these traits from time to time, and the whole thing is being able to discipline ourselves when we feel like we're falling victim to some of these things that we notice that other people fall victim to. So hopefully, uh, this would be a learning moment for everybody. But let's move into these trades and these charts. So let me start with forex.
Sir.
So last week I showed you all my forex positions, um, and I'm going to show you what they're looking like right now. So let's go into the forex trades, and I told you all everything in terms of my approach to trading. So let's start out. You all are able to see the screen. So a week ago, I shared you all my trades, and so now I'm going to give you all updates as to where those trades are. Red Pill, can you see the screen? Yes. Okay. So this is my position on gold. You will see that I'm in extreme profit with gold. Why am I in extreme profit? Because I was able to use first principles approach. Is in all economics, it's buy low, sell high. I don't care if it's communist economics, capitalist economics, anarcho capitalism, crony capitalism, whatever you want to call it, Austrian economics. The rule is the same: buy low, sell high. Marketplace economics, you know what I'm saying? It's buy low, sell high. So what I do is I always use the bigger time frames, because the bigger time frames are smoother in terms of the direction, and there's less volatility. The more volatility, the less predictability. We are in the game of being able to predict where price is going. So therefore, the higher time frames is what makes the most sense to us. And most people lose money in forex because they're only taught how to use the lower time frames, being the H1, which is the hourly, or the M15. Okay, you want to use the daily, the weekly, and the monthly. Don't let anyone tell you anything different. So what we noticed is that on gold's weekly chart, anytime you start to see the black line move out of these blue lines or close to the blue line, that's what you call a low, and then we call that shark fins. So it formed a shark fin here on what you call the TDI, or the RSI, which is the relative strength index. This is the stochastic indicator, which also lets you know buying and selling pressure. And I was able to notice a low. And what did I do? I checked the daily, and I was able to track that low on the daily. So now I've got a weekly and a daily low. And so what did I do? I then look at my entries through the hourly chart by being able to see levels. Now I might be moving a little fast, but those of you who've done Forex, you'll understand what I'm saying, and it'll be an epiphany for you based on what I'm saying. So these are the lows here of gold. And this is what you call level zero, which is the lowest level. And then as it moves up, you start to get level one, and then you get level two, and so forth and so on. And so what I do is I look for the bottom, I look for it to form level one, and then get in at level one. Okay. So as these lines start to cross, the red crosses to the blue, you start to get a level one. Let me break it down a little bit better. So I was able to see that gold was actually making a turnaround. Some people call this swing trading, right? But I just have my own style for what I do. So sometimes I don't use the same words that they may use. But as you can see, I was able to predict that gold was making a change from going down. Here's it going down. See, gold was going down for several months. I can tell you when it started going down. So this was the high here, and it starts going down from there. So that is March 2026. It starts going down. The question is, where's the turnaround? Well, it hits the white line here, which we call the mayonnaise, which is the 200 EMA. It bounces off and comes up, but then it comes right back down. Your job as a Forex trader is to notice when the turnaround is about to happen. So I have a way of doing that by using these indicators and then using these level changes that I see on the H1 chart. As it moves from level 0 to level 1, it lets me know that it's actually making a different change. So in terms of direction, so I was able to get in on gold, and that's why I am caking up on gold. Right here, you see that I am 3,000 pips in profit. And this is not regular. Most people who trade Forex, you're going to see them celebrating when they're 20 pips ahead. But because I do a different type of trading based on the bigger time charts, you're going to always see me with thousands of pips, even tens, 100,000 pips, which is very rare and you won't see. But we're used to being rare as in terms of our performance and what we do. So this is what you see on the daily, and on the hourly, you'll see that we are way, way up, okay, as far as it comes to gold. All right. Silver. Look where we are in silver. This is our entry point with silver. We knew that silver was doing a turnaround, and we are 741 pips. Silver is one of my favorite charts because of the way it moves. It's a very steady movement. Silver will give you, if you get in on silver right, you're going to make a lot of money. So like, look at the silver chart. Look at right here where silver was here. You'll see a dip here. That's a low. See that shark fin at the bottom? It's a reverse shark fin. That lets you know that this is a buy opportunity. So if you got in on this low here, this would have happened April 2025. You could ostensibly been in this trade since April 2025. Every time it's moving up, you're printing money. So I caught it at a low again. So I plan to be in this trade for over a year. Every time you get a blue candle moving up, Heru's making money. I'm printing money. Okay? So I'm in here and we got a nice candle up. And so I'm in great profit. I'm also in platinum. This is platinum here. And I've just hit profit with platinum. So I saw that platinum is going up, and these metals tend to kind of copy each other. So I'm in gold, silver, and platinum. So I'm making money off of the rise of platinum as well. And you can actually look at platinum's chart. Look at the chart. Platinum was flat for many years until you get to here. Platinum starts to explode here. So whoever was in platinum in May 2025 has made a lot of money since then. So platinum has been on the move. I caught platinum at the low. Remember, it's always buy low, sell high. It applies to Forex. So I caught the low, and I'm looking to ride this and print money for the next couple of years off of my position here. Okay? And I can take profit at any time. I can close out the trade and take my money at any time. But I like slow, I can wait, right? So I like building up money over time. I'm not into like fast money, okay? Because fast money leads to long problems. So I like this to build up over time, and this becomes exponential, okay? I'm also in Ethereum. Look at this great big blue candle I'm in on Ethereum. I'm even down here, I have an entry. The green is the entry, and the pink is my stop loss. So what I'm going to do now, you're going to see this in real time. I'm going to be moving my stop loss to my entry. What does that mean? That means that I'm at a no risk trade. So that means that if I get stopped out, I won't lose any money. If the pink is below my entry, that means that this is where I would lose money. So right now I'm about to secure my trade. So now there is no risk. And actually, I will get out with money. Okay. So if I get stopped out here, I get stopped out with cash. And I'm doing it in real time now. Okay. This is what I call creating hygiene in my charts, where I'm looking to be completely risk free. And I can move this one here as well. So look at this, y'all. I am all the way down here with my first trade. I saw an opportunity here to get in on some more trades, so I took it, and now I'm completely protected. Okay. I got into Zcash, which is another crypto, and look at this candle that I'm benefiting from right there, because I was able to see where it was turning around because I caught the lows. It's very important. So this is why I'm in profit in all of these things. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm moving this up to protection. So now my trade is completely 100% protected. I cannot lose money in any of these trades. There's no more risk on the table. You're watching me do this in real time. Okay. People pay thousands of dollars to see something like this. Y'all are seeing it for free. Those of you all who are not in this yet, this will be very, very valuable to you in the future as you get involved in chart reading and all of this. And this is where we all need to get to, and your children need to get to, and all this. But we have this recorded so you can go back and look at this. But trust me, people pay tens of thousands of dollars just to get this information. And so, and most people who do Forex are not willing to show you what their trades look like, because most of them don't know what they're doing and they're losing money and they're just selling you trading education, but they're not really good traders. They're just repeating what other people said and selling you a package. So their money that they're making is not from trading. They're making money from selling you an education that many times doesn't work because they're just dealing with small time frames that make no sense. Never have anyone trading you on the 5-minute or the 15-minute chart. It's too volatile. Your money will be taken away. Euro Japanese yen. Look at this. I have entries here and here, and it gave me a big dip, but it did not catch me because I was all the way down here. See that? It would have stopped me out, but did not catch me. So I'm still in business with Euro Japanese yen. So I was able to catch it on the lows. Okay. And this is actually late entry. I should really have entered. The green line should be here somewhere, but I didn't see the chart until a few days after it actually went. Microsoft. I am in Microsoft and I'm in severe profit with Microsoft. If you see, you can look at it. I was able to see when Microsoft was turning around from dropping down. I was able to catch it and it stayed in consolidation for about 3 weeks, but I caught it and boom, right there. So the money's very good with Microsoft right now. It looks like it's taking a dip right now, another low. It might be an entry for somebody there, but it's too late because I like to use the daily and the weekly lows. So I will not be doing any trades here because I'm already here and I'm protected. And I plan to be milking Microsoft for the next 2 years. The reason is that we caught it at a monthly low. And the last time that Microsoft was at a monthly low, which is here, was 2023, y'all. So if you caught this 2023 monthly low, you could have been riding this for the last 3 years printing money. So I'm hoping that this will be another 3 years here, and I'll be printing money for 3 years just on this position. A lot of people who've done Forex, this is very new to them. They've never seen anything like this before because most people don't trade the monthly and the weekly chart. They trade the hourly chart, and then that keeps you watching the damn charts all day long. Here I get in a trade and I can go to sleep for a month without even looking at this chart. I also got into American Express because I noticed that American Express gave me another low on the daily, and it's giving me a W, which I told you is a upward structure, whereas an M is a downward structure. And I was able to catch them going up. So you see me in some slight profit here with American Express. Really and truly, I was thinking about getting another trade when it was down here yesterday because this is yesterday's candle, Tuesday's candle, but I just refrained because I was in a lot of trades. But if I had got in here, you'd see a green line here, and I'd be in even more profit. But I just left it alone yesterday. Tesla. I am in Tesla. Tesla has given us some downturn lows. Look at Tesla's lows. This is the weekly chart. It gave us another low. Who am I not to take this? So I hit them with a lot of trades, y'all, and I'm in profit. And I hope to be in profit for the next year or so as it just rides up for me. Okay. Intel was disappointing because we were looking for it to keep going up, but it was like it's resetting. So I got stopped out here this morning, but I will get back in as I see upward movement. And what I'm going to be doing is simply waiting for it to form a level. So I'm going to take this as level 0 in the new reset. I'm going to wait for the red line across the blue line. That will be a sign of a level 1. Then I will wait for it to retrace a little bit back to the blue line, which would be called an H150 bounce, and I will take the trade from there. And we'll do it again. We'll reset it again. Okay? So on this one, I did get closed out on this trade. Okay? Japanese. I am in profit on the Japanese index. You see 50,000 pips here. It took a dip, but look at me. I'm all the way down here, and my stop loss is here in profit. It didn't even stop me out yet in profit. So it looks like it's resetting, coming right back up, and I'm in protected trades. Okay? So Euro, US dollar, Japanese yen, I got stopped out in profit, and I can redo the trade again once I see another level form upwards. So this is going to be level 0. If it goes up, that'll be level 1, and then that'll let me know that it hit the low and I can do another entry. So I'm just being patient, y'all. So I've just shown you all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 charts, of which 10 I am in profit, and 2 I've got closed out in profit, but I'm waiting to re-enter when the time is right and the situation looks perfect. So in terms of all of the trades that I'm actually in right now, I'm in 10 trades right now, 2 on the back burner that I got stopped out on, and 10 are in profit. So that's 10 for 10, y'all. You're not going to really see something like this with this level of accuracy in many different Forex educational platforms. And I'm just letting you know this is just what we do here. So that's where I'm at with the Forex. Very comfortable with it. Intel, I expect Intel is going to be going up, and these stocks, these AI stocks, computer chip stocks will be going up, and I'm being very patient. Like I said, once I see a level change here upwards, I'll be entering Intel again. They stopped me out here this morning, but I was in a protected trade, so I didn't lose any money. Same thing with this one. They stopped me out in profit right there. It went down when it looked like it was going up, came back down, but it looks like it's coming right back up. So I'll hop in it when the situation looks right. Okay. So that's what we got for Forex. We're going to, let me see if there were any questions that people had. Let me read the commentary real quick and see what people are saying. Okay, let me go. I'm going to go down into the comments and see if anyone's asking any questions. Someone asked, is this covered in the Forex subscription on Heru Trades? Yes. So let me just be clear on Heru Trades. Heru Trades is not, you're not paying for an education. I have free videos on my website on herutrades.com. What you're paying for is literally just to follow my trades or analyze them. So there's a weekly, monthly, and a yearly subscription fee. So this is really for people who have some type of experience in trading, where you can choose Forex You can choose heavy metals and crypto, and then you can also choose stock options. And I do all three. And I just post my trades, and you're able to know them right away, so that you can get in on the trades as early as I get in. Okay. So someone says, so you're shaving, taking profits? No, I'm not taking profits right now, because I'm looking to be in these trades for like a year. Okay. And my profit level for a weekly low is 10x and a monthly low is 20x. What do I mean by that? Is that if my risk is $500, I'm looking to make $5,000 off of a weekly low trade. If it's a daily low trade, I'm looking to make 5x from it. So if my risk is $100, I'm looking to make $500 from a daily low trade. I'm looking to make, so that's 5x. So that's just the math that I do. 10x is for a weekly low, and a 20x is for a monthly low. So that's my take profit levels. Other than that, I stay in the trade. And what happens is that if I do get stopped out, I get stopped out with, like, let's say $100 profit, and then I look to get back in if it looks pleasurable. So the way I do the math is, if I get stopped out 10 times at $100, that's $1,000 for getting stopped out because it reversed on me. But what I do is I put my stop loss above my entry, where I can at least get $1,000 off of it if it reverses on me. So I can make $100 off of it. But if you keep doing that, you get stopped out with $100 profit every time. Well, 10 times is $1,000. So I'm either going to make 100 or I'm going to make $10,000. It's a binary outcome for me, right? So if I risked $1,000, I might make 100 if I get stopped out early before it starts to take off, but I'm in a protected trade, so I get stopped out that way. But I'll do that all day long, right? Because that's $100 getting stopped out, or it's going to go and hit a home run and get me to my 10x. So either way, those are my outcomes. I'm either going to make $100 or I'm going to make 10,000. That's it. Okay. So that's off of like $1,000 risk. So, um, you can just do the math yourself. And someone says, how would you scan to find stocks that are approaching the lows? So that's a great question, Ross Heru King. So here's what you can do. Let me take this off sharing so I can speak to you all directly. Yes, that's a great question. You know what you can do, bro? You can use AI, and the question that you ask AI is, what stocks, what currency pairs are currently oversold on the daily, weekly, or the monthly chart? And the AI will tell you. So now you can just focus on the stocks that are oversold. And so the question that I ask is, because the AI sector is the biggest growing sector, is here's your prompt. What AI related stocks are currently oversold on the RSI, which is the relative strength index, on the daily, weekly, and monthly charts? And the AI should be able to tell you. There's your answer, my brother. So Ross Heru King, hopefully that was helpful for you. Okay. Someone says, yeah, the 2016 MLM Forex boom has gone. Traders who learned earned. Yeah. Someone says, do you trade gaps on Sundays? No, I do not. I don't do the gap trading. That's just too short term for me. And it's too volatile. Remember, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to get rid of volatility. Why? Because volatility leads to unpredictability. And the only reason why we're doing Forex is to be as predictable as possible. Therefore, the most volatility is anathema to what we're trying to do. So I'm trying to avoid anything that is volatile, which is gap trading and all of that. So I don't do that. Those are people who are looking to make short-term money and get a quick profit and close out. But I'm not doing that. I'm basically looking for the lows on the big time frames and getting in at the right time on those lows. Okay. Someone says the show shared SpaceX entry point in 6 months. Can strategy be explained? Thanks. I can look at the SpaceX charts and let you know. Okay. Someone says, since these are year plus long trades, would we do yearly subscriptions? It's up to you. So the yearly subscription is at a discount. So I'll just tell you what the fees are for Heru Trades. for 1 week subscription is $100 for the week, based on whether you're doing forex, currency pairs, or whether you're doing metals and cryptocurrencies. That's like gold, silver, platinum, cryptocurrency. And then the third option you have is stock options. So that's $100 a week. You sign up for that on HeruTrades.com. And then what happens is that you just get notices whenever I make a trade. You can copy my trades or not. If you want to do it for a month, it's $300 for the month, right? Remember, there are 4 weeks in a month. So I give people basically $100 discount. And then if you want to follow me for a year, which there's a lot of people signing up for the whole year, it's $3,000. And that's a great discount on the monthly subscription because you'll be paying $3,600. So it's a $600 discount. So I just try to make it affordable for people who are serious about this thing and looking to get value. You can just start with 1 week and see how it works for you. But sometimes I don't do a trade in a week. That's what you should know. I don't just trade just to trade. I only trade when the situation looks right. So sometimes you might sign up for a week subscription, and in that week I might not have done a trade. So some people will sign up for a month, or they'll just keep the week going on until they see what they like. Okay. Someone says, "What's the link to my page?" They always miss it. I'm going to put that up for you all. Right now, it's just HeruTrades.com. This is the website. That's for people who just want to follow my trades. And you can get educational videos when you go to the About page, right? And I'm going to post the website for you all to see. It is at the bottom here and right there, HeruTrades.com. That's for those people who want to subscribe to my trading. All right, let's go to the other questions. Ross Heru King says, "Gratitude." No problem, my brother. Happy to answer anybody's questions. New Digital says, "Basically, you automatically sell the stock before it goes below what you paid for it." Yes, I don't automatically sell it. I just put my stop loss above what I paid for in a buy. And so if I get stopped out for whatever reason, I get stopped out with money, with profit instead of losing money. So that's what I do. And my goal in every trade is to get the price to a point where I can move my stop loss to my entry. That's my goal, because now there's no risk in my trade. You want to minimize all risk possible. Okay. What hours of operation of the Africa stocks in America? So, great question. We're going to move on to the Africa stocks. MyStocks.Africa opens at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As a matter of fact, I was able to buy Clydestone stock on Monday. And I want to shout out Kai Wilson. Kai Wilson contacted the CEO of MyStocks.Africa. Those of you who are in tune, we've been investing in Clydestone heavily for the last month and a half, because Clydestone gets the best returns, better than even these AI stocks. So we've been investing, and MyStocks.Africa has shut off the ability to buy Clydestone because they were having some technical issues. But Kai Wilson contacted the CEO of MyStocks.Africa. He said last week, on Monday, you can buy Clydestone. And so sure enough, 6 a.m. on Monday, 5:59 a.m. I was awake and I bought more Clydestone stock. And I'll show you all that as well. Someone says, "Do you open enough trades monthly to cover a pro firm test with the right risk?" Well, so this is a pro firm test, for people who don't know, is there are companies that will give you money to do trading, and you have to do a test to pass. And some of the rules of the test require you to maybe trade every day, or they have like you must do a new trade every week. So you have to look. For my style of trading and what I do and how I get busy, I can't have a daily requirement to trade, because I don't trade unless I see the setup that I like. And it might take a month. I won't trade for a year unless the setup is there. I don't care. There's some people who are into this and they're just trigger happy to trade. If my setup is not there, I don't trade. If it's there, I trade. And it might take a year for that setup to show up on any given chart. I don't care. I'm not here to lose money. I'm here to get into the trades that make the sense for me. So um, yeah, I would have to find a prop firm, what they call it, that would allow me to trade maybe once every couple of weeks as part of their rule set. And so, yeah, I could do that. And this is no small money, by the way. So these prop firms, like, they'll give you like 100,000, 200, $300,000 to trade, and then you split the money with them. And sometimes it's like 90-10, where they take 10%, you keep 90%. I could easily do that, but I wanted to hone what I'm doing with my own money first. And I might do a prop firm, uh, probably maybe by the winter. I might do a prop firm. And the other thing too is the prop firm, they get into your business and how much money you're making. They start reporting stuff. I ain't into all that, right? So I like to just keep my stuff to what I'm doing. I don't like to have other companies know how much money I'm making. You get what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But yeah, you can make a lot of money if you know what you're doing. If the prop firm uh, allows you to not have to trade every single day as part of their rules, that works for me. Um, Someone says, so you set your stop loss in profit? Yes, that's what I do. Once price has moved away, it has formed a different level on the 1 hour chart. And that's more technical conversation, but that's exactly what I do. Once once I'm in considerable profit, I move my stop loss to my entry or above my entry, so that if I get stopped out, I get stopped out in profit, so I don't lose money. Okay. How do you decide what stocks to take options on? It is based on the lows in my entries and looking at the chart. I went over that last week, so you can look at last week's show. My brother Ross Haru King, my brother by the same name. Uh, just look at last week's show, and I show you how I do stock options and how I decide. It's the same strategy for forex, and a lot of the stock companies are on the forex chart, so I'm able to look at the chart and know where my entry should be. Okay. Um, yes, above the entry price is where you want to put your stop loss. Okay. Someone says, me too. I was bright and early. Yep. You got in on that Clydestone. We're going to get into that. I just want to answer the questions. Um, if you don't trade for a week, the description get rolled over into the next week or the next trade. No, it does not. Occult lecturer. I can't control if I'm going to do a trade. And I just let people know that sometimes if you sign up for the week, that week I might not do a trade. I tend to do a trade at least once a week. But there might be a week that I don't, because I'm not gonna do a trade and have you lose money just so you can say that you got a trade notification during that week. I'd rather. That's why some people just sign up for a month, because I can guarantee you that within a month I will be doing a trade. Okay, because some weeks there's nothing going on for me to do. Quick question: I've been trying to invest in Clydestone and I've been having trouble purchasing Clydestone. I reached out customers. Okay, yeah, you can purchase it now, and we're going to get into Clydestone, Randall. Um, Live accounts are way better. Yeah, I mean, we're professional at this, so we do live accounts. We don't do demo accounts. And I would advise anyone who wants to do forex, start with a demo account. And when you can double your money on a demo account, that's when you should go live. Do not go live with real money until you can double your money in a demo account, which is not real money. Okay. Better broker. I use Hugo's Way for, and you can use MT4 on Hugo's Way, by the way, occult lecturer. That's what I use. So the chart that you see me trading on, that's Hugo's Way. You just go to hugosway.com. Okay. Um, Dangote IPO at the low end. I know I'd have to look at the charts, but I've already signed up for the IPO. Um, do I have reservations about getting into Clydestone all-time highs? No, not really. And there's a reason why. I'll tell you why, but that's a great question. It is overbought right now. Okay. Kai Wilson in the house. Shout out to all the Clydestone investors. All of us are laughing because we're up. Okay. We are up. And I'm going to show you all that. Occult lecturer says, thank you. You are most welcome, occult lecturer. Happy to do this. Happy to be of service and give value to the people. Let's go to mystocks.africa now. So I'm gonna show you all my what mystocks.africa looks like for me. We're gonna stop sharing the forex. I can take that one down. I can remove that. Stop that. Okay, let's get into mystocks.africa. So, okay, this is what's important, y'all. This is what I need you all to compare. So, the best performing AI stock for the last year is SanDisk. Okay? And so this is important for us to see this. So SanDisk for the last year, this is on the Robinhood chart. I want y'all to, this is why being an international investor is very important. So you know what's happening in the world. So in terms of the American stocks, SanDisk is the best performing stock in terms of AI. Look how much it's given you for the year. 3,000% for the past year, which is 34x, which means that if you put in, I mean, this is crazy. If you put in $1,000 last year, you'd have 34,000. If you put in $10,000 last year, you'd have $340,000, y'all, in 1 year. Okay, but it turns out that there's another stock in Africa that's outperforming SanDisk. This is why when people try to tell you to just stay domestic in what you're doing, don't listen to them. The world is yours, y'all. And Africa is building like crazy, and you'd want to get your hands into this growth. Okay? Don't let anyone tell you anything else. They don't know what they're talking about, and obviously they're not operating based on numbers. Okay? So, when we look at my stocks, this is my mystocks.africa. You see it says good morning, Haru, and I'm having a great morning. So when we go to the portfolio, I have the cash values covered up because people are tuned in, and I don't want people all up in my business like that. But what you can see is this: total return, I'm up 45%, and I'm dollar cost averaging. So every time I add more money every week, the percentage goes a little bit down because I just started a new week, right? But in totality, I'm up 45%. What does that mean? Well, let's look at Clydestone. Why is Clydestone important? Because we're numbers people. Okay? In 1 year, Clydestone has given you 5,800%, which is almost double what SanDisk is doing. So you'd be a fool not to look at Clydestone or this African stock and only be looking at American stocks. You'd be a fool. You make double your money on the best performing. You make double the money that you're making on SanDisk, and you're making crazy money on SanDisk. But in 1 year, you'd have done close to 60x on Clydestone. That's a big deal, y'all. Like, these numbers are not normal, okay? Like 60x, all right? And you're not getting this information anywhere else. You're not getting it anywhere else. That's why I love what we're doing. So, we've got, oh, this changed a little bit. It was supposed to be set to, they're just giving us year today. I just had it on yearly. I don't know whether, I think I pressed something, but the 1 year was something like 6,000. So I'd have to see let me see if I need to refresh this so you all can see, because you're only seeing year to date, and I don't know what I pressed something to take off the year view. I don't know what I pressed, man. But y'all saw the number. It was crazy. The number is absolutely crazy for the yearly. So it's just giving me year to date, which I don't want. I want the 1 year. I pressed something that took it to year to date, where it should be year and 3 years. I did something that I don't know what I did, but I know I pressed something that took the view off. But anyway, you all saw it in enough time to be able to see that. Oh no, you go to all. That's why. I have to go to all. There, no. So anyway, at least in the past 6 months, we've done a 10x. Okay, in 6 months, there's a 10x, 1,000%. So of course you want to get in, and so here we are. You can buy right here. The market's closed right now, um, but you just buy Clydestone. You just fund your account. I use stablecoin. I already showed you how you do it in a previous watch, previous show. You just need to watch it, but you would just buy and you'd buy the amount that you want, and then you get into the growth. Now, someone saying to me, it's actually overbought at a very serious level, all time highs and all that. Is there something you should get into? And my answer is yes, because it's been overbought for the last year or so. And so it's just a hot stock. And what I'm going to do is I just dollar cost averaging. So I'm buying where it's high or low. And when it gets low to around here, I will double, triple, 5x the amount that I put in weekly. But I'm just going to keep a steady pace now. See, it took a little dip here, but it's still in the overbought category, but it's going to stay overbought because it's just a hot stock. They're dealing with payment systems in West Africa, and they're just making a lot of money doing it. And so this is the number one performing stock. And so, those of us who are in, we're very happy. I just don't know what I pressed that took off the 3 year and 1 year thing. I don't know what I pressed. Let me see if I can get back in a different way. But you all did see what you needed to see. Um, that is outperforming, completely outperforming SanDisk, like in a big, big way. Let me see if I'm able to see. No, it only is giving me year to date right now. So I have to figure out what happened to the 1 year and the 3 year, because usually you're able to see 1 year and 3 year growth. We saw it when I first clicked on here, but I'm only seeing year to date. And that number is crazy. They're just saying basically since January, it is up 1,300%. And we want to participate in that type of growth. We put our money in and our money just grows. Okay. So already I've made a decent amount of money with
Is
Clydestone.
there like a stock calculator where I could just say if I put $1,000 on it, how many stocks I'm gonna get?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could just do the math here. So for instance, Clydestone, right? So Clydestone, it tells you, at least what they tell you is they will give you the Ghanaian currency and then the US currency. So it's actually worth 59 cents right now. So it's close to 60 cents a share. So if you want to get $1,000 worth of it, you'll just do the math. You'll just divide it. 1,000 divided by, so you just know how many shares that you have. So you'll just do it that way. So once you do it that way, like if it's $2 a share and you're going to put $1,000 in, you're going to get 500. I mean, you're going to get 1,000 shares, right? $2 a share. No, I'm sorry, $2 a share, $1,000. That's 500 shares. So you do it that you could do it that way. So the just do the math from the price what it is now, and then you'll be able to know how many shares you'll have with $1,000. The amount of shares you have is irrelevant. What you want to know is the difference between the price of when you got it to the price that it is today. That's what you want to know. So you want to see that 59 cents change into $1 or $2 or whatever. And we're early because it's 59 cents. So there's a lot of room for growth with this. And a lot of people are piling in. And unbeknownst to me, there's a lot of people who are tuned into this show apparently that have been buying Clydestone from MyStocks Africa, to the point where Kai Wilson is talking to the CEO. The CEO actually wants to have a meeting with us because he's seeing, that this is a serious group of people who are investing. So a lot of people tune into this show in different ways. You know what I'm saying? Um, and so, the people who own My Stocks Africa is actually seeing the influx of folks starting to invest. And so that's where we are, man. We are really, uh, we're changing the narrative. And every single person who's bought Clydestone stock, you are qualified to call yourself an international investor. Okay. So, um, that's what we got going on right now. The market opens again at 6 a.m. tomorrow. For those of you all who want to get Clydestone, that's where we're at, and that's what we're doing. Okay. What I want to do is there's been a lot of questions about Patah Set, and we still have a lot of people tuned in. And so Patah Set, where we're going to be doing the reverse engineering, I'm going to show you all this. The buttons are up for the course in the class, and we already have people registering. Let me just do a little housekeeping for y'all. So we have Patah Set. We set it up as a spiritual system in the church that solves our problems around technological prowess, because that's really the difference between why we were enslaved and conquered as a people and colonized, and why other people were able to take advantage of us because of the technology gap. And we're going to close that technology gap in our own way. And so we're seeing it as getting closer to the mind of the creator by understanding science, technology, mathematics, as engineers ourselves. And we're using Patah and Aset as our standard bearers and our avatars for our spiritual system. Because religion is just what you do. When they say, "Oh, he does this religiously," I mean, it's a habit that you do. It's something that you consider to be sacred. And so our freedom and our liberation is sacred to us. So therefore, our spiritual systems have to answer um, our needs around being a sovereign and free people. And the message will not be through marching, debating, voting, uh, anything but having technological superiority. Because at the end of the day, when your enemies are flying drones over your head and you have no answer for that, well, then you will be subservient to those people who have greater technology than you. So what we're doing at Patah Set is the first thing that we're doing is everyone has a smartphone. So we're going to be doing smartphone reverse engineering. So let me share that with you all. We were looking to start on the 19th, but we'll probably push it back a week. It's going to be on every Saturday. It's going to be 3 hours. We're going to start at noon Eastern Standard Time on Saturdays for what we call the church sessions. So if you're looking at this is patahset.church, and all you have to do is go to the live training. And when you go to live training, you will see smartphone reverse engineering. Okay. And so when you click it, it tells you all about it. And the fee is per family. Okay. It tells you what to expect and the requirements and everything. And what we're going to do is we're going to give you the kit. So you have to purchase the kit, which includes the phone and all of the different tools to take apart the phone and what have you. And so that kit is $550. Okay. So the first thing that you would do is you do an initial deposit for materials. You order that, and then we ship to you the materials. And then before the class starts, you pay the balance for the course itself. And that balance is $600. And what we're going to do is, as we get more and more people to sign up in terms of paying the first balance, this number goes down for everyone. Because what we're trying to do is the instructor needs a base pay. But once we have more than 10, 15, 20 people registered, this number goes down in terms of for the class. The number stays the same for the materials in terms of the phone and the tools, but this number will be going down as more and more people. So I think we can maybe even get it down to like $300. So materials is the same, but the training will be going down by the number of people who end up registered. We have a few people who've registered already who have paid, and that's what I mean by registered. And we're going to start shipping out your toolkit next week along with the phone. The people who've paid, I could probably shout out the people who paid. I know Twyla Heard paid for this. A couple other people paid. But we are ready to go. A lot of people sent me email. You'll be getting a newsletter in a couple of days about everything that I'm saying now. But those of you who have sent me emails, ask me when the course is starting, they want to join the church. Everything is up and running right now. You can go ahead. And here's the key: every payment that you make is tax deductible. So what we've done is we've set up a paradigm shift now, because the wealthiest institutions in our communities, I don't care whether you're in Mississippi, New York, Atlanta, Kingston, Jamaica, uh, Virgin Islands, Ghana, Nigeria, the wealthiest institutions are religious institutions that are taking money from people every week in the form of tithes or whatever. What's the return on investment that people are getting? But the religious institutions are able to get tax write-offs and tax deductions for any contributions. So people contribute to these religious institutions, but where are they getting returns? So what we're saying is we're going to give you full training on engineering, math, and science for not just you, but your whole household. And whatever you pay to pataset.church is a tax write-off for you. We haven't done this before. Like, as a people, we haven't really done something like this before. And so what we're doing is we're saying, listen, you'll be able to deduct from your taxes by learning how to engineer everything around you, because we're going from smartphones, which is the first session, to the second session is going to be 3D printing. So that means that we're going to have the link for you to buy the 3D printer that we're going to suggest. We ship it to you, and you have a 3D printer in your house. And then online, we're going to be doing the courses. So now you, your son, your daughter, your cousin, whatever, your household can now be engaged in 3D printing. And Ken Eccles is going to do that. That's our priest engineer. And then from there, we move into AI robots. And we're going to be moving into reverse engineering drones. Okay. So we're going to spend a lot of time on reverse engineering some of these important things. And then once we're comfortable reverse engineering, we're going to move to innovating. So therefore, you'll be able to take apart this iPhone. You'll be able to look at all the pieces of the iPhone, the anatomy of it. We'll be able to 3D print different pieces of the iPhone, and then we'll be able to innovate to even make it better. And this is where liberation comes from. This is where a powerful people are developed. And this is what we're doing. We're doing it without apology. We're doing it without focusing on, any negativity. We're coming to roll up our sleeves because we realize that there are no shortcuts to becoming a powerful people. You have to be able to make everything that you need without depending on other people. And we're going to have to become scientists, mathematicians, and engineers par excellence if we're going to be able to compete in this world and be taken seriously as a people worldwide. And so Ptah solves that. And unity is sacred. So we don't care where you are as a Black person. We don't care where you're located, where you were born. We love you no matter where you were born on this place of earth. So we don't deal with this division stuff and, you come from here and I come from there and da 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 da. We don't know. Division in our church is actually a sin. It literally is a sin. It's one of the unification is the hallmark of the church based on Aset's unifying principles. If you don't know about Aset, read about her and what she did to unify the body parts of her husband that were chopped up by Set, from which we get the word Satan. So read about ancient Kemetic spiritual systems, and you'll learn these stories. And they're great metaphors and great ways to understand the world that has been kept away from us. But if we had the greatest techno-complex civilization that built pyramids that cannot be replicated today, there may be something to learn from those ancestors. So we're digging deep into those traditions and understanding what needs to be done, and understanding that we have to become a different type of people. And I'm not saying all of us. We just need a few critical mass people who are serious, so that when people say, okay, you see these group of people there, you see these Black folks, they're not to be played with, because they make their own drones, they make their own phones, they make their own everything. Those Black folks, don't play with them. They believe in unity. You're not going to break them up based on the fact that one is Jamaican and one is Haitian and one is from Brooklyn and one is from California. They don't care. These black folks, you can't divide them. And that's what needs to be said. There has to be a certain group of black folks that the world looks at and says, we can't mess with them. They're unshakable. They're independent. They make everything that they need. They don't need anything from us. And I'm going to tell you all, like, look at the opium wars. Um, you want to be the people who can say what the Chinese said to the British. The British were exchanging gold for tea with China. They didn't want to exchange gold anymore, but their population was addicted to tea. So what the British did was, in order to get the gold back from China, they started pumping opium into China in exchange for gold. And when the Chinese um, met with the British to negotiate trade over tea, the British said, "We're running out of gold. We'll trade you anything else that we have in exchange for your tea." And the Chinese sat down with the British and looked at them in the face and said, "There's nothing that you have that we want or need." And so that's what caused the British to pump opium, into China. And that started the opium wars because the Chinese seized a boat off of the coast of Hong Kong that was full of opium coming into China. And when they seized the boat and destroyed the boat, the British took that as an act of war. But understand what it means when you can look at your enemy in the face and really mean it and say, "There's nothing that you have that we want." Okay? And it all comes full circle, right? To the earn your leisure conversation, because the way Red Pill started the conversation was white acceptance and white proximity, right? Like, why are we always falling into that trap? Because we're not yet developed as a people where we can look at white folks and say, "There's nothing that you have that we want or need." And until we can say that and mean it, we're always going to be subservient to the same people who don't mean us well historically. Okay? So this is what we're doing at Patah Set. We're going to become that people, and I'm not saying we need all of us. There's going to be a select group of black folks by the time I'm done with this that the rest of the world is going to look at and say, "Those black folks, you can't mess with them. You can't do the division game with them, and you can't do the subservience and dependency game with them, and in making them crawl at your feet and beg you for inclusiveness and all of that." No, because we're going to make everything that we need. And the only way that you can do that is if you become scientists, engineers, and mathematicians par excellence. And we've now embedded that into a spiritual system and a spiritual culture. It addresses the black box of why our plane crashed in terms of black civilization. The black box told us that there are two deficiencies in our history that repeats itself over and over again. And until this black box deficiency gets dealt with, the plane is going to keep crashing, and we see it. The two deficiencies, based on first principle, is we lacked the technological superiority to deal with our enemies, and we were easily divided as a people. Those two things are what they call Achilles heels, which I call the limiting factors. And if we solve for that, we solve for actually being who we're supposed to be.
Because I just want to add for my historians and everybody, especially the FBA out there, that story of division, there was tribal warfare in the Americas that helped the Europeans, both the French, Spaniard, okay, and the British. They conquered the tribes because of division. They conquered the tribes by using the divide and conquer thing. Those confederations, that civilized tribe, the five civilized tribes, and all of that with the Iroquois and all of that was division. They
Yeah,
pimped that and broke
absolutely.
our people.
It makes their job easier. And if anybody wants to know about the power of dividing black people and what it does to us, I want you all to just study Rwanda.
Oh,
Like, if you don't, you know, The Belgians came into Rwanda and created a caste system of Tutsis versus Hutus
Right.
and selected one group over the other, and it created internecine warfare that led to a genocide.
Right.
And now, when you go to Rwanda, they've solved that problem by saying that by law, nobody can call themselves a Tutsi or a Hutu in Rwanda. The only thing you can call yourself in Rwanda is a Rwandan or an African. And so the leadership of Rwanda saw the power of division and made sure that no one can cleave to an ethnic identity that is against unity. So we're all going to just be one people and forget about our ethnic differences or blah, 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 because what it leads to, it leads to internecine warfare, and the only person who benefits are your enemies. So we're dealing with that with Brother Red Pill. And for those of y'all who want to deal with like the Native American and the Western Hemisphere type stuff, um, there's a couple things you can look at. If you don't want to read books, go watch a movie called Apocalypto. It talks about the Aztecs and what was going on with the Aztecs and different warfare that was happening amongst their people until the end of the scene when they're standing on a cliff where they're chasing each other.
Right.
The native people chasing each other and doing whatever they're doing with each other. They both look out at the ocean and they see an armada of Spanish ships coming to kick ass.
Right. Coming to
And
conquer.
yes, and so the question becomes, are y'all going to keep fighting amongst each other? Or are you all going to unite and deal with this greater power that's about to come change the texture and the history of your lives for the next 1,000 years coming, where you all are going to be speaking a foreign language of those people who were coming on that boat?
Yo, I might I might make a meme now that you said that from that scene of Apocalypto.
Yeah.
And the two Indians is gonna be Rashad Bilal, and then black people, and the Armada is gonna be Morgan and BlackRock and the rest of them people coming in to invade.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not even just him. Like you could do it with like Tariq Nasheed and all these people who like,
Mhm.
or any. But it's not even. But listen, here's the thing: black separation and black disunity is not location specific.
Oh, it is not.
You see it on the continent between Yoruba and Igbo and Akan and Ewe and this and that. You'll see it in the Caribbean between, even
Haitian,
within the
West
islands,
Indian,
even the island itself, like in St. Croix, you'll see East versus West. You know what I
Frederickstead
mean? You'll
versus
see, yeah,
Christiansted.
Frederickstead versus
Right.
Christiansted, or you'll see St. Croix versus St. Thomas, or like you
Mhm.
go to Dominica, you'll see Soufriere versus Scott's Head, or you get
Yep.
what I'm saying, or Grand Bay versus this, and you'll see that like, and then
Flatbush
when you
versus
start,
Brownsville.
yeah, you start seeing Brooklyn versus Harlem. You start
Yep.
seeing New York City versus everybody. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
that
You see
type
what I'm
shit.
saying? So it's like the opportunity, Crips versus Bloods. You'll see Black Peastone Rangers versus Black
Right. Gangster
Disciples, and
disciple.
yeah, and
Right.
this and that, and so the opportunity to divide is something that has been embedded in us a long time, and if we start picking and choosing how we want to focus on division, we lose the plot and understand that like this divisive aspect, man, people should read about Nat Turner's rebellion. You should read about Denmark Vesey's rebellion. You should read about Gabriel Prosser. All of them suffered the same thing. The same thing is that you had folks on a plantation who wanted to unite, and then you had folks on the same plantation who didn't want to unite, and they decided to go rat and tell the slave master because they didn't believe in black unity. They just didn't believe in it. They believed that the slave master is where it's at, and that's the winning team, and so that's that white proximity type thing. So we've always had traitors. We've always had people who are pro division, but those people never live to actually have a voice in our history. Is usually the ones who wanted to unite become the heroes. And so, if you want to be your heroic self, you're going to become a unifier of our people. All of the people we study in history were unifiers, not divisive people. Okay, and if you want to be divisive, then you're on the side of the people who ratted out Nat Turner. If you want to be divisive, you're on the side of the people who ratted out Denmark Vesey. If you want to be
Mm,
divisive, and what people don't understand is like particularly Denmark Vesey. Denmark Vesey came from Haiti before he went to South Carolina,
right.
and a lot of people don't know. Stage one of the plan was to take over the armory in South Carolina. And once the armory was taken over, during that time, this was 1822. This is after the Haitian Revolution, and this is when the president of Haiti, named Boyer, had taken over the Dominican Republic and stopped slavery and united the whole island. Okay, this was 1822. And guess what? Denmark Vesey was in touch with his brethren that he was dealing with in Haiti. That once they take over the armory in South Carolina, the Haitian generals agreed that they were going to come and invade South Carolina and help Denmark Vesey after he took over the armory. But before he could take over the armory, he got ratted out. So people don't understand that, like, we've been in communication with each other because we actually have family lines with each other. There's people in Louisiana who got family in Haiti just because the French was the colonizing party, and people don't like know about these things. So the division thing
Then
makes no sense.
then even Ross Ben had dropped some information. You know what I mean? He reminded me of something that I always have to remind people, that there were more people shipped to the Caribbean from the Americas than the other way around.
Yeah, a
So
lot
when
of people
King
were shipped to the
Philip's War,
Caribbean from South
right,
Carolina.
King
From the
Philip
yeah.
War, when they lost, they decimated the entire eastern coast. That's where you get Rhode Island, Boston, Connecticut. That when they decimated all of those tribes, they were shipping them directly over to Europe. That's why over in Rhode Island, I believe is they're known for their boats. They go directly across, and it's a straight line to Liverpool, right?
Hmm.
So then when you go into Connecticut now, you have specifically places like Hartford, there's an influx of Puerto Ricans and Jamaicans. And people just say that they think that they just came there arbitrarily. No, those are the tribes that were there originally. So what you might be calling an Arawak or a Puerto Rican, though, when you put feathers on them and dress them up, those are the tribes. The Jamaicans that are in Hartford and those other places, they're just coming back to where they originally were. So when you do the research on the Lenape, when you do the research on how they basically cleaned out the eastern seaboard and whatnot, and took all of those people and shipped them to the Caribbean, when you look at what happened in Charleston, all of the ports, Charleston, Natchez, Mississippi, the New Orleans ports, and Chesapeake, Virginia, those people were getting shipped to the Caribbean and other places, right? And not the other way around.
Right. So, I mean, people just need to understand that. Look, man, I'm gonna quote from Desiree. Desiree is a reggae artist. You know, people need to listen to more reggae music. You know what I mean? Just like get in tune with like who you really supposed to be in terms of like blackness, man. And here's the deal. She says in a song called "Gracious Mama Africa," she says, from you black, you African, and it's done. Like, we don't need to talk too much about it. Those of us who want to unite are going to unite. Those who don't want to unite are not going to unite. And I understand that. The bottom line is this. Here's the bottom line, y'all. There's going to have to be a group of black folks on this planet Earth that aren't playing any of these games. There's going to be a group of black folks on this earth who are going to be formidable, regardless of geographic location. And we understand what the imperative in the homework assignment is that we have to become a powerful people, because if we do not become a powerful people, we'll be the laughing stock of the world and never taken seriously and never be able to negotiate anything at any table, because we're not negotiating from a place of power. And so the reality is this: there's a lot of history, there's a lot of history lessons that we can tell. The point is this: none of it matters if we don't forge out a future. Okay? And to forge out a future, we cannot ignore the fundamentals that people have to be engaged to become a powerful people. China did it. Japan did it. Japan was dropped with two nuclear bombs. Those atomic bombs are nuclear bombs, by the way. And Japan decided that they were going to focus on technology and engineering. And look where Japan is now after they got bombed with two nuclear bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And they didn't forget. They never forgot because there's places in Hiroshima and Nagasaki where you can go right now and you see shadows. And a lot of people don't know what the shadows are, but once a nuclear bomb is dropped, before you disintegrate, the flash took a picture on the sidewalk of people's shadows. So you can walk right now in near
Yep.
Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and you'll see shadows of people in the ground as
Right.
if it was a photograph. But those were people who were walking when the United States of America dropped bombs on civilian populations, nuclear bombs. And when the flash happened, before the people disintegrated, there was shadows on the ground, and it still exists till today. So the Japanese never forgot, but they understood the only reason why they lost is because these people had better technology than them. So guess what the Japanese did? We're going to focus on technology and become technologically advanced. And now Japan is taken very seriously in the world, and China is taken very seriously in the world. We all are old enough to remember when China was the laughing stock when it came to Chinese products, right? Oh, they're inferior. Chinese products always break down. But what people don't understand is that China was in the stage of reverse engineering. See, it's a process. They were in a stage of reverse engineering. So, of course, their products were not up to par because they were growing. But now China is the factory for the world. Your iPhone is made in China. Tesla cars are made in China. The top technology is manufactured in China because they become the manufacturers for the world. To the point now that nobody's laughing. I remember when I went to school, you saw a Chinese kid, we used to do the little stupid stuff. Wah! Ching chong, ching chong, ching. You know, say all that type of stuff to Chinese people. Not no more.
We used to have the cat jokes.
Yeah, not no more. Not anymore. They're a world superpower because they took science, technology, and engineering seriously to the point where I always tell people read a book called The World is Flat. The guy talks about how China and India and all these people have worked to become superpowers by engineering prowess. When like you'd have like Steve Jobs come speak in China, the Chinese children would sleep overnight at the stadium so that they could get tickets to hear Steve Jobs talk. Okay? This is a whole different mentality.
Right.
In America, children are lining up for Nike sneakers or the new Air
Video game.
Jordans. In China, they want to hear the people who actually are going to be avatars for their future in terms of technological prowess. So the Chinese children, they cleaved onto that, and look where China is now. And actually, like sometime next year, I will be doing a fact finding tour in China. I'll be in China, and I'm going to go and I'm going to give
I'll
you
be
all
with you.
reports. Yeah, I'll be reporting, and I want to check out Singapore and China. Those are the two places I'm going to go spend some time. As a matter of fact, I'm actually planning to enroll my son in school in Singapore for about 3 months,
Okay.
just for him to get that because he's been in school in Africa and Rwanda, and it has transformed his life. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
transformed his life. And so one of the best things you can give your children is the education of travel. And I'm not saying travel to go shopping, to actually embed yourself in a culture, learn what's going on, and understand. See, the problem with being in America, because America has been a superpower, you get a false sense of yourself and a false sense of the world. Because, see, when you're a superpower and you travel, you expect people to cater to you. So, in other words, you expect people to speak your language and not speak their language.
Right.
So you don't want to learn their language. Like Americans don't want to learn other people's language. They want, other people speak English to them, right? But what
Right.
happens is that you get what you call the main character syndrome. You think that you have what you call a solipsistic worldview, and you believe that the world revolves around you,
Look,
right?
I was in Bogota airport and caught that reality check. I was like, why y'all not talking to me? Where's the English speakers at? Like,
Exactly.
I was on my American
Yes.
ego
Yeah.
shit.
Yes.
They
And
humbled
that's
me.
Yes, and it's real. And when you get to realize when you step out of the country and you realize that there's a whole lot going on in the world that has nothing to do with America, that people ain't even thinking about America. People ain't thinking about, and you think that you're the cream of the crop because you're coming from America, or you have this main character view. Please understand that the world doesn't operate that way, and it's humbling when you go to other countries with other traditions, other histories, and other languages, and other foods, and you get to learn that, and you understand that you are not the main character. And that's one of the main things that I was able to do for my son, for him to go to different countries, to understand that he's not the main character. When you go to these different countries, you listen more than you talk. You
Mhm.
understand? Because it's important for you to take in and understand the world that was shaped in different parts of the world that you never even were privy to. And so I will be going to China. I want to spend some time and do some tour of Shanghai and a couple other places to look at their technology. I'm always going with the mind of black folks. It's like, this is where we need to be. This is our competition. And so we need to understand what's going on in the world of competition in terms of nations and people. And so it's China and Singapore. And I definitely want to spend 3 months in Singapore, have my son go to school there, and then, go back to the continent and do what we're doing there in terms of building. But you know, Red Pill, we've talked about it, but in a couple months, I'll probably be in Addis Ababa and Nairobi as well. And whenever I'm on the continent, man, your family, everyone is invited to come with me, and we'll have a great time, man. And we're gonna, go see what we can invest in, factories we can buy, and those types of things, and really move like international investors, man. So very happy to invite you whenever I'm on the continent, and you're gonna love it, bro.
Yeah, I look forward to that. This time because
Absolutely.
they my invite to do the global travel was interrupted by that pandemic and whatnot. I was on a roll.
Absolutely.
We did the
Absolutely.
UK, you know what I mean? We was getting our passport stamped. We was ready
Yeah.
to really get this thing going. And then it abruptly got
Yeah.
so, maybe that was a reason behind it. But I'm at this point where, because these conversations have gone global and because my worldview has expanded and whatnot, and just based off of the feeling that I got when I went to Latin America, I'm like, yeah, my spirit and my quote unquote purpose is a global one. I really saw it. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I don't want to be stuck and frustrated. I don't want to go through this whole, limited worldview and I'm feeling like I'm in a small space. It's time to expand, you know what I mean? And I want to bring my people with me. I want to help. I don't want to pontificate. I just want to demonstrate. I don't want to get all preachy to the people and try
Hmm.
to break. I just want to put the clean glass of water next to the dirty glass of water and just share. Like, look, fam, look at, you know what I mean? Like, just feel it, feel what we feeling. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. And
Uh,
right along with what you said, the clean glass of water.
mhm.
When I was growing up, right, when we heard the word Ethiopia, this is before I got into like roots reggae music and started meeting Rasta people, and the love for Ethiopia, had developed in my heart. Growing up in America, Ethiopia, when you think about Ethiopia, you think about starving babies, right? We are the world, we
Fire,
are the
yeah,
people. So
fire.
you have this embedded in your mind, right? But people don't know, they have a mind of what Ethiopia might look like, or what Africa might look like, because of what they've been marketed in their mind, which is basically trying
Propaganda.
to alienate you
US
from the
aid
black
and
world. Right. So I want to show you all what Addis Ababa, which is the capital city of Ethiopia, looks like. This video was put up 5 days ago. So I just want to show you all where I'll be headed. And hopefully, I'll be there long enough. My son should go to school in Addis Ababa, man. And I'm looking to do that because mango season's over, so I'm ready to leave the states. And so, check this out. Can you all see this?
yes, sir.
This is Addis Ababa 2026.
They're like Ocean Ave.
It's what they call Bole in Addis Ababa.
Mm.
Look how beautiful that is. That's just driving around, walking around Addis Ababa.
Is there they all look alike? Like they're like four of them just procreate and just expand because they keep the same phenotype.
Yeah. I mean, country to country, you'll start seeing phenotypes.
Right.
Somalia, there's definitely a Somali
The
phenotype.
Somali phenotype,
Yeah,
right?
there's
The
a West
Somalian,
African phenotype.
the Sudanese
Um,
phenotype.
yes, yes. So this is what modern day Ethiopia looks like 5 days ago.
That's
Look at how beautiful
beautiful.
that is.
I'm gonna share this with you. This
Yeah.
looks more advanced than some of the places that I've been to in South America, Colombia to be exact.
Oh, this looks more advanced than the place I've been in America.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But this is just what it is. So people get a real sense of what like really wagwan in the world. You know what I'm saying? That like
man,
this is
that
like,
propaganda was bad on us.
of course, this is this is Addis Ababa 5 days ago.
Mm,
Okay, so I'm gonna be sometime this year. I'll be in Addis Ababa. I'm gonna be hanging out. I'll be doing the show from Addis.
Addis,
Yeah, and we can do that because why? We're international investors now. You get what I'm saying?
that
Like,
part.
you see what I'm saying? I want to see what's going on. I want to see what the opportunities are to do business in Addis Ababa, and I love to eat my injera and my Mr. Watt and all of that. You know what I mean?
Because
So I
if
just
it's
love the
banging
vibe.
over here, if it tastes good in the Americas,
Exactly.
my
Exactly.
vegetarian platter plate from the Ethiopian spot, I
Yeah,
could
yeah.
just imagine. Oh
It's,
my
is is
goodness.
nothing is nothing to play with. You know what I'm saying? So when I was in Brooklyn, I was in Brooklyn in 2 3 weeks ago when I was in Brooklyn when I had just missed you when you were doing your studio recording.
Yep.
Every day we ate Ethiopian food, man.
Every
We went
day, right? What do you
every
remember the
day.
name of the spot you went to?
I don't, but there was two spots. One I didn't like, but the second one I liked. I can get the name for you, but it's Brooklyn. I would have to. But yeah, I could tell
Because
you the
I'll
name of
be
the
back
spot.
in Brooklyn next week. As a matter of fact, I got to put that information out there as well. Because when you talked about your son, I'm gonna
Hmm.
do that thing. Like I didn't do that. I'm taking my son to college. I'm
Yeah.
that's my I'm doing that tradition. You know what I mean? That's gonna
Hmm.
mean a lot for me because I didn't do that. That didn't happen with me. You feel
Oh,
me?
okay.
My dad
Yeah.
didn't take me to college because I didn't go to college. I went to Catherine Gibbs. Don't judge me.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
chilling in the crib one day. Remember the commercials where they be like, "Do you want to make video games? Well, why are you sitting on your couch?" It was right after 9/11. I was feeling hopeless. And I was
Yeah.
like, let me just go to this college. But it was like a local one. So he's going to St. John's and whatnot. So,
Oh, okay. Congratulations,
I
man.
want to bring him. He likes to eat. We do the Indian food thing as a
Hmm.
family. We like that. But I'm gonna introduce him to the Ethiopian food.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. It would be good. It would be good too. I have nothing but positive things to say about Ethiopian women. So get to know the Ethiopian food, and maybe he can get a nice Ethiopian girlfriend, man.
He got a
It'll be
Haitian girlfriend now.
okay. That's cool. Well, that's top of the line too. Because
Man,
let
I'm
me tell
scared.
you something, man. Haiti. I could just say something real quick about Haiti. Also, the place we went was called Awash. Awash Ethiopian restaurant. It's on
I watched.
242.
I think I
Yeah,
heard of him, bro.
242 Court Street. It was really good, very, very hospitable and all that.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, Haiti. Out of all the places I traveled, bro, the best food I've ever had is in Haiti.
Get out of here.
I'm not even like there's no like it's hands down. And I'm talking
What?
about like I eat Ethiopian food, I eat all of that, and I love Ethiopia. But the best, my assessment, and
Better
I've
than
lived,
Jamaican food?
yeah, like
Better
my
than
assessment. Yes. My assessment, bro, is from what I've experienced, and I've traveled all over the Caribbean and I've lived in these places, right? And I've
yeah.
lived in Africa and I've lived in and traveled all this. Someone says, come to Nairobi, definitely. That
Oh,
Nairobi is definitely. I'm definitely coming to
yeah.
Nairobi.
Send
I've
me
been
a
to
ticket.
Nairobi
I'm trying to
already.
go there too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nairobi. Someone said come to Nairobi. Definitely, I'm coming to Nairobi.
Yeah, Nairobi on my
Like,
radar.
there's no. I've been to Nairobi already. There's no way I'm going to be in Addis Ababa and not come through Nairobi. And I have very good brethren and family in Nairobi too, man. Shout out to my brethren, Naphtali. You know what I'm saying? Rasta man in Nairobi holding it down, man. I'm
Nairobi.
actually looking to do some things in Nairobi, and I'm maybe looking at warehouse space to open a factory in Nairobi. So I will come to Nairobi. I just
Dope.
never been to Addis, so I want to check out Addis, and I've always been close to the Ethiopian community. I used to live with Ethiopians and Eritreans when I was in law school, in college, so I'm very close to the Ethiopian community. That's like my second home is Ethiopia, you know, in terms of the community and the vibes, you know.
Well,
But
I had lived with some Nyabingis in Florida.
yes,
And yeah, the Nyabingis put me on to like the whole Selassie culture. And,
yeah,
we were really leaning heavily into Ethiopian culture.
yeah,
And
man, and it's a
I got a
beautiful
better,
thing.
that's where I got my appreciation for them from.
Yeah, man, they're just beautiful people, man, lovely people. And I used to have an Ethiopian girlfriend, man, and when Ethiopian women love you, man, they love you like it's
Yeah,
a
they love
different type of
hard.
love. They love hard, man, and it's just different, you know. It's different. I could tell all types of stories. Maybe I'll share some stories one time about travel. We could do that. But someone says, yeah, so Haitian food. Look, man, I just keep it real. Like I love all our people, but I keep it real. So like, you know, if I'm telling you like the places where I go where I get the most laughter, uh, places where I have like the best time in the world, probably would be
Yes.
Jamaica. Jamaica and Lagos, Nigeria is probably the places where I have the most fun and laugh because it'd probably be Jamaica would be number one. Like I literally go to Jamaica and I pull muscles from laughing. Like
Ah,
actually, I've hurt my back laughing so hard.
right, right.
Jamaicans, the way they talk and tell stories and
Ah, they
the
so funny.
character, man, I laugh so hard when I'm in Jamaica. It like I literally pull muscles laughing in Jamaica.
And
Like
it's the dark humor too.
yeah, man, and it's just one of Jamaica's a magical place, and the people are just the most outstanding people, man. Jamaica is just everyone can sing, everyone have a song, it's just different. But then
Look, look, Rude Boy, man, I have two children from Jamaican
from a
Uma.
Jamaican,
Man, I
yes,
have man, I have
yeah,
two
man.
picnic
Yeah,
from Jamaican
big
Uma.
up the Jamaican Empress, them,
You
yes,
know?
yeah. But what I will tell you this: when it comes to food, out of anywhere I've been on Earth, Haiti has the best food, man.
I'm gonna take
And
you up on that.
listen,
I used
and
to
in the
eat Chef
way,
Creole in Miami.
brethren, if you, man, like, I mean, look, we're doing this show, and as the show grows and more, we can do these shows on location, bro. Like, listen, when I went to Haiti is a whole different thing. But like right now, they tell you about like don't go to Haiti, Port. It's only in Port-au-Prince. Like you can go to the southern part of Haiti, it's nothing but peace and love. That's in Jacmel area. You can go to the north, which is Okap, where most of the revolution happened. The Haitian, so you can get a lot of history when you go to the northern part of Haiti, Okap.
Mm,
Let me tell you something, man. You can go there right now, and there's nothing but peace. And like I can show you videos of people in Haiti, like in Okap right now, living it up, having a great time. But they're telling you don't go to Haiti because while other people are going there to
political.
do business. You understand? But
Yes.
the Haitian cuisine, Red Pill. First of all, when Haitians make a meal for you, the way they lay the table, you think that you at goddamn Versailles Palace, man. Like, I
Yeah.
don't care how in poverty that family is, they're gonna give you the best china, the best
Right.
cutlery. They're laying the table for you, like in a very formal way, number one. And then the food, the way Haitians cook, they are the masters of spices.
Mm,
Yes. So I'll give you an example. And I'm just still showing the video of Addis Ababa, just so people say this doesn't stop. The beauty don't stop of how Addis Ababa is developed. Like this is where you want to experience life. Check this out. Haitian rice and peas is different than Jamaican rice and peas.
Yes,
So,
it is.
so Jamaican rice and peas is a good rice and peas. They'll add coconut milk to it and all of that, but it can be kind of bland until you add other things to it, right? Like you might eat it with curry, whatever curry vegetables, or if you eat chicken, curry chicken, or brown stew this, or escovitch this, and that'll be the Jamaican thing.
Yes.
But Haitian rice and peas, they season it so well that you could eat it by itself.
It's a
Well, you don't
standalone.
need it's a standalone, bro. And they they make plantain, green plantain, which is called banan buese, and they have a bean stew that they make, a mushroom stew. The just trust me when I say this, and it's something that everyone should experience. First of all, as far as I'm concerned, all black folks in the Western Hemisphere, actually on Earth, should visit Haiti just as a pilgrimage. You see how you see how like
They
all
need better
Jews,
PR.
they need better PR. But I'm
The
telling you this right.
Haitians over here, they should be more responsible. The Puerto Ricans over here, the Jamaicans over here, a lot of them need to be more responsible for the PR of their islands.
Yes, it
Tourism,
needs. Yes,
investment, and breaking the
yes,
propaganda of the colonialism.
yes. This is real. But what I'm gonna say is this. Um, Based on what Haiti did, see what a lot of people don't understand is that in 1804, Haiti was the only country of black people that was free. Everywhere else, we were colonized or enslaved in 1804.
Right.
The foot on black people's necks was global in 1804.
Mm.
So for Haiti to free itself up and to read the Constitution, just because of I used to be a lawyer, so I used, my favorite topic when I was in law school was American constitutional law. So I was very like big on reading constitutions, and so I
Dope.
got my hands on the Haitian Constitution of 1804, and everyone should read that Constitution, like the Dessalines Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and the Declaration of the Ending of Slavery in 1804 and Gonaïves, that Jean-Jacques Dessalines made, and you read it, you get chills when you read it. And then when you read the Constitution, it says that every single man in Haiti must have what they call a mechanical skill. Think about that.
Mm.
That's in the Constitution. The other thing that's in the Constitution is that no white man can step foot in Haiti and become a business owner.
Mm.
That was the law.
That was the law.
The other law, which is big, is any black person who can make it to Haiti, because remember, we were enslaved all over at the time. Jamaica,
Right.
we were enslaved. All these places, Barbados, all these places, we were enslaved, man. In South Carolina, we were enslaved. In Ghana, we were enslaved. In Nigeria, we were enslaved. We just call it colonialism, but it was slavery.
Right.
Check this out. Haiti said, if you're black and you can step your foot, this is actually where a lot of people don't realize. Do you know that the United States government got two things from Haiti? The concept of Social Security came from Haiti. A lot of
What?
people don't know this. Yes, the
Yeah.
concept of Social Security, because in Haiti, after the revolution, they passed a law once they freed themselves from France that if you work, because of how slavery was working, they
Right.
passed a law that if you work for anyone over 10 years or 20 years, they have to pay you a pension for the rest of your life. That was the first Social Security that was implemented in the world, was in Haiti. Number two, America during the 1960s instituted a thing for the white Cubans who were fleeing Castro. It was really the white Cubans, right? And it's called a wet foot, dry foot policy. So that if you were Cuban and you could step your feet on any sand in America, you were automatically given asylum. It's called the wet foot, dry foot policy. But if they caught you on the boat in the waters, they'd send you back to Cuba. So the whole thing for Cubans was just getting on dry land. Once you got on dry land, you were good. It's called the wet foot, dry foot policy. Okay? Well, do you know that Haiti had a wet foot, dry foot policy? And what their policy was is that if you are a black person and you can make it to the shores of Haiti from anywhere in this world, you are not only automatically free, because remember, all of us were being enslaved at this time. Haiti made sure that you were no longer a slave, you were automatically free, but Haiti went one step further and made you a full Haitian citizen. This is part of the Constitution. So what Haiti becomes for us is what Israel is for Jews. See, a lot of people don't understand these things and haven't put these things in perspective. So really, all black folks in the world, we should be paying homage to Haiti for doing that for us. The problem is that Haiti was isolated, so it had no trading partners. So only people Haiti could trade with was countries. Even if they were black, they were still run by white folks. So Haiti was left on its own. And this is the problem is that it's not enough for one country to be free. All of us got to be free so that we can actually start moving and trading with each other. Haiti was isolated because white folks did not like the fact that the story of Haiti made black people think that they could defeat white people and also never be slaves again. To the point where Napoleon, and people should read Napoleon's letters, man. He wrote letters. He referred to us as macaques, monkeys, all of us. So that was the name he referred to black people, macaque, after the macaque monkey. But the directive that he gave to his general, which was first the clerk, and then the clerk died, and then he picked Rochambeau, which was like a butcher. And he told him that he wants two things. One, he wants the head of Jean-Jacques Dessalines. And after we get the head of Jean-Jacques Dessalines, he told Rochambeau to exterminate all the black people on the island of Hispaniola because they had become contaminated with the spirit of freedom. That's the literal words that Napoleon uses. So if the Haitian generals and the Haitian Jean-Jacques Dessalines and Henri Christophe and these serious men hadn't won, the whole island would have been exterminated from black people. Like, people don't understand the seriousness of what Haiti did. And the miracle of Haiti is not necessarily defeating the French imperial powers of Napoleon, defeating the Spanish imperial powers, and defeating the English imperial powers. The miracle of Haiti, as I would say, is that you got all these alpha male black men to agree to cooperate and work together for a greater cause. To me, that is the lesson of Haiti. But there's so much in Haiti that you'd be just completely blown away. It's a trip that everyone should take. If you're black, you got black skin, you need to pay homage to what the Haitian ancestors did until today. Even in their language is revolutionary language, Red Pill. You say sac passe to a Haitian, you know what their response is? Sac passe means what's happening. You know what the response is for sac passe, Red Pill? I don't know if you're there, Red Pill.
Ça passe, maboule.
Yeah, so the response is not boule. You know what not boule means? Like,
Not
literally, you would think it means I'm okay, I'm fine. No, it literally means we are burning.
We are vermin.
Burning.
We are burning.
Yes, referring to burning the plantations in the slave master's house.
Ah.
So even till today, the Haitian in 2026 is using the revolutionary language from 1804. And a lot of Haitians don't even realize that.
That's why barbecue, that whole burning thing is still a motif. You know what I mean? You know, they got the leader out there of the gangs, barbecue,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And all of
burning,
that,
the burning of tires and all of that.
yeah. You don't even, like, a lot
Stuff.
of that is even propaganda.
Yeah,
But I
yeah, yeah.
can
It's
tell you
very
right now,
propagandized.
you're not going to see what Haiti actually looks like, except for the capital city. And then you see the confusion that's going on there. But if you can just go online, just put in Haiti, Cap Haitian, or Jacmel in 2026, and you see it, you're going to be like, what? Okay, this is 2 weeks ago. Cap Haitian 2 weeks ago. It's just people walking around, Cap Haitian. You see, This is important for people to know. And you're thinking that there's war going on and all of this going on, and that's not what's happening, man. A lot of it is propaganda to alienate you and keep you away from these places. And I saw that after I went to look. This is Cap-Haitien, 2 weeks ago. Does that look like warfare is happening?
No, sir.
This is Cap-Haitien right now,
That
two
looked like
weeks ago.
Colombia for me.
Yes,
That's how it
that's what I'm
looked in
saying.
Colombia.
Literally, this is uploaded 2 weeks ago. All right. So what I'm saying is that you cannot live your life based on American media and news, because what it will do is if you listen to American media and news, you won't even go to Harlem.
You will not go to Harlem.
You know what I'm saying? You won't go to Harlem because you'll be scared of your own people. You won't go to Chicago. Chicago's a beautiful place. Yes, there are pockets of
Yo,
violence, but generally Chicago, the people,
Chicago is gorgeous. Oh my
man, and the
goodness,
people of
Chicago is
Chicago are
gorgeous.
lovely ass people. Some of
Yep.
the funniest people you'll find on earth are people from Chicago.
I love me some Chicago.
Yeah, man. Like the Chicago people talk like if you want to get into like jonesing and cracking on
Oh
people and
Lord, they are funny
Chicago
and
people like you're gonna laugh. Like
hmm
Chicago people got that in them, man. Like some of the funniest people I've met on earth are folks from Chicago that I grew up with.
right,
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is
right.
Cap-Haitien today.
But this the thing, right? This look right here.
Hmm.
When I see places like this, I see the Roman Catholic Church with their foot. Because whenever South America looks like that and the Caribbean looks like that, there's a certain look. Those places with mountains in the background, right? They just have this certain type of colonial look to me. But I
Yeah.
love the pastel paints. I love all of that. But
Yeah,
it needs a remake. You know what I'm
yeah, yeah.
saying?
Of course, because a
Because
lot of them are like old time buildings from like the 1800s, man.
that's what I'm saying. I'm
Um,
saying it has that
yeah,
colonial
that colonial look. Yeah, because those
conquistador
buildings are still there.
Roman Catholic
Yeah.
suppressing the growth and keeping people somewhat stuck in a certain type of time zone. Now, from a perspective of a entrepreneur or even from a non for profit perspective, when you go back in time and you come from a place like, let's say that you come from in America, North America, where they might somewhat be in the future, you have an advantage when you go into a place that's somewhat stuck like in the 70s or the 80s. Like if you go into Cuba, not to
Hmm.
say that their minds are stuck back in time, but you kind of know how to apply solutions and you kind of know what needs to be done because you come from things that are somewhat more developed and whatnot. So once again, a lot of the weight falls on the shoulders of the people who are here from these places, the natives who are in the North America. I feel I don't know. I can't say what people are doing, but I know when it comes to places like Jamaica, getting deported is like a death sentence, right?
Hmm.
So if I was a Jamaican in the Americas, I would be doing a lot more to somewhat affect the ground over there, building wise, development wise. Even though I know that there's a lot of politics and red tape involved and all type of stuff, there's layers of corruption.
Yeah. Well, not only that, the problem is that the United States government through the CIA destabilizes these countries whenever they have a great leader. You
Of
see, so
course, of
that's a
course.
lot of the problem as well. But so what's happening is that people are coming to America because of economic opportunity, because America has acted like an economic gangster and economic hitman around the world, where even just the IMF policies stifle a nation's monetary capacity in terms of the currency. So there's a lot that goes into it. But I
That
will say
strong dollar.
this. I will say this from an immigrant's point of view. This is what people need to understand. Like most immigrants, I'd say 99% of immigrants only left their country for economic opportunity. Most people do not want to be immigrants. Most people want to be in a country that they speak the language, eat the food, the music. People miss home, man. Just like, I mean, people miss home. And the only reason why people come to America or England or France is because these countries, through their theft and gangsterism, create stable economies for themselves while they rape from the rest of the world. So what they do, what the people who are getting raped, they leave the place of rape to the place where the abundance from the rape has occurred. And then what they want to do is they send money back home. So like I believe that Haitians have the biggest remittance in the world per capita in terms of the money that they send back home. So they'll come to Canada or America or France and they'll work and they just send half their income back home, and that half their income supports like families of 10. So this becomes an economic model that people use. But if you talk to anybody who's in their 50s and 60s who's been an immigrant for 30, 40 years, they want to go back home, bro. They want to be where they went to school with people, they know the people, they know the landscape, they don't feel like a foreigner, they don't feel, people don't like feeling like foreigners, man. People want to be in the country where they grew up, where they have memories of childhood. That's just a human thing, man. So I mean, it's a lot of conversations that could take place, but geopolitically, what these colonial countries have done to the countries that they colonize or have imperialized is basically taking the wealth out of those countries. And what happens is there becomes brain drain. So like the engineers of Haiti or Jamaica will come get jobs in America because they'll get paid more money because American companies have more money to pay them. But how do they have more money? Well, their currencies haven't been destabilized through the IMF and the World Bank like what the American government and the European governments do to these other countries. So it becomes a conversation that requires a lot of context, man. But the point of the matter is this: wherever we are, we have to lift each other up and engage in the development of each other. And I'd like to talk about my travels and tell people what I've seen to kind of like tell you the narrative is not what people are saying. So people, when I tell people I grew up in Chicago, people are like, you grew up in Chicago? Did you ever get shot at? And this and that. You know what I'm saying? Because of what people hear about Chicago. It's the same type of rhetoric you hear about Africa. And basically what it's doing is creating a narrative for us not to connect with each other. And nothing spoke louder than that when I went to Haiti in 2010 after the earthquake. Um, People were telling me, don't go, it's dangerous. And when I landed in Haiti for the first time, first of all, I didn't know it was just a 45-minute flight from Miami to Port-au-Prince. Like, it was like flying to Orlando, Florida. So I was like, damn, like this is really close. And then when I got out, I'm seeing like beauty all over me. Yes, there were some buildings that were crumbled, but people were living, loving. People, nightclubs were open. I was going to nightclubs at night while I was doing volunteer humanitarian work in the day, like getting supplies and stuff. Nightclubs were open, hotels were open. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is not what the United States news was showing me. It was creating fear. So when I was there, I got nothing but love. Ate all the mangoes I wanted to eat, had the best of cuisine, had people from the Haitian Revolution. Like literally, I sat down when I went to northern Haiti, Red Pill. I sat down with people whose grandparents that they knew had fought with Toussaint Louverture and were telling me stories. Do you understand how big that a deal that is to hear those stories directly?
Yeah, that was big.
Yeah, because I was sitting down with 100-year-old people whose grandparents and great grandparents that they knew fought with Toussaint Louverture in the Haitian Revolution. And they're able to tell me the different strategic points and different this and this and that and the different personalities and stories of people like Capois, L'Amour. And I'm just telling you, man, you got to be able to see the world and do not allow the United States media to shape your opinion about your people in different parts of the world if you haven't been there yourself.
Facts.
Okay, don't talk about Harlem if you've never been to Harlem. Don't
Facts.
talk about Chicago if you've never been to Chicago. Don't talk about Africa if you've never been to Africa. Don't talk bad about these places if you've never been there. Don't talk bad about Haiti if you've never been to Haiti. Don't talk bad about Jamaica if you've never been to Jamaica. Don't talk bad about Mississippi if you've never been to Mississippi. These are just basic rules that you've got to go see things for yourself and understand that there's a picture being painted to alienate us from ourselves. But when that barrier breaks and we're free and we have freedom of movement and we've got relationships with people in Haiti and Ghana and this and that, that's when we start becoming who we need to be. Period. Someone said, "Can I speak of my experience growing up in Chicago?" Yeah, I mean, I could do that. Like Chi-Town, Chi-Town is lit, man. I love Chicago. I mean, Chicago's a very interesting place. I mean, I'm not gonna get into that in this show. We've been on long enough, but yeah, I mean, I could talk about that. I could talk about Chicago. In the United States, I've lived in Chicago. I've lived in Boston. I've lived in Miami. I've lived in Washington D.C. I've lived in Los Angeles. I've lived in different places in the U.S. So I've gotten a pretty good, you know, view of this. I've lived in New York. I've lived in Brooklyn. I've lived in Harlem. You know what I'm saying? I've been, you know, but yeah, Chicago's cool. It's just cold. It's too damn cold in Chicago, man. I can't do it. Other than that, folks in Chicago,
Mm.
man. Listen, if you got friends in Chicago, family in Chicago, go spend some time in Chicago. And the type of laughing you're gonna do because of the way folks in Chicago get along and the way the personalities are, you're gonna laugh your ass off in Chicago. Some of the funniest people you ever met is in Chicago. That's why I don't really do well with comedians, Red Pill,
Right.
because professional comedians, like I grew up in Chicago with people who were much funnier than any of these comedians who were like professional.
Right.
Like I have friends I grew up with that if they would have just got on front of a microphone and just started talking, they'd be some of the best comedians you'd ever meet. These are cats I grew up in Chicago in Chi-Town. You know what I'm saying? So, no, I've never lived in Philadelphia. I visited Philly, but enough love to the people in Philly. But yeah, I've lived
Rude
in
boy, we
Boston.
going on 4 hours. I can't
Yeah.
cross if we cross the 4 hour line, this is gonna go down as a whole paid lecture and you know what I mean?
Yeah, we
God
should sign
damn.
off. It's almost 1 p.m. here, man. But no, it's been a good show, man. We got to really kind of chop it up and really, discuss a wide variety of things and get into this trading as well. Next week, we'll go over some of these stock option plays since we did Forex this week and we did the African stocks this week with MyStocks.Africa and Clydestone. I'll do the stock options next week. But I mean, these are all good conversations for people to have. But I really want people, man, um, expand your horizons, man, and do not become solipsistic in your worldview to think that the world revolves around you, and understand that like the world is a big place and the black experience is an experience that we have all over the world, and get to know what the black experience is of the world. The black experience is not just the experience that you know of black people in the town you were born in. Go see the world. One place I haven't been is Brazil. I'd like to check out Brazil. You know, like I got to go to Brazil at some point in my
That's
life.
on my bucket list.
Yeah, and any of these moments, I can just book a ticket and just go to Brazil. So it may just happen, like with El Salvador when they made Bitcoin legal. I never been to El Salvador. I didn't speak much Spanish. I literally just booked a ticket and then found out that like a round trip from Fort Lauderdale to El Salvador was like $180. Like
What?
like when you start to travel, you start to get to see what really is like. Damn, it's only $180 to go round trip from Fort Lauderdale to El Salvador. So I just booked a ticket and went. And now I got people in El Salvador that I know, friends in El Salvador. Like I can always go to El Salvador. You know what I'm saying? This is what happens when you travel. I'm sure the same thing when you went to Colombia. You got
Mhm.
links in Colombia now. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
yeah,
We
man, you
have
gotta see the world,
links.
y'all. Y'all gotta see the world, man. Exercise your passport, y'all. Stop having a solipsistic view of the world where you think the world revolves around you and the country you were born in. No, go see the world. And when you travel, use your ears more than you use your mouth. And
That's a
just
fact.
just learn how to fall in love with your people in different parts of the world, and you will be rewarded. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm suffering while I'm in America. And what do I mean by that? What y'all don't understand is that the love that I get when I'm in Africa, and I say it all the time, the love I get because of the things that I do and the history that I have and what I'm involved in, and when people find out what I'm doing and the
Right.
type of love I get in Africa, when I'm in Africa, I feel like a superhero. Like
Mm.
I really feel like a superhero when I'm in Africa because all types of opportunities fall in my lap, like land purchasing, businesses, all types of investments fall into my lap when I'm in Africa, and the love that I get in Africa is on a different level of love. Where I always say that when I'm in Africa, The type of love I get is like I feel like I'm Patti LaBelle at the Apollo. So so for me, like I'm a happy person generally, and I live in a great environment when I'm in the States, and I wake up to a mango orchard and all that because I designed my life. But to tell you the truth, I'm happiest when I'm on the continent
Mm,
because the sky's the limit there, and I don't have some of the restraints that you have in America and also Africa. Investing in Africa is like investing in Amazon stock in 2000. It's going nothing but up. And the freedom that you feel when you wake up in the morning in Africa is different. You never realize how much weight you have on your shoulders when you're in America because you realize that this country is not run by people who think like you or even care about you. You know that intrinsically. So when
right.
you leave America and you wake up in a black run country, particularly on the continent, and this has happened many times. Like there's a brother who came to Africa with me to Gambia and Sierra Leone when I was in Gambia and Sierra Leone a few years ago. The brother's name is Howard Dorsey. He's a brother born in America, and he's in his late 50s, and he's like, "Let me come to Africa with you." And we said, "Come through." So he came,
Mhm.
and I would let him tell the story. I might
He
even
ain't
have him
never
come on the
leave.
show. No, no, he's back in the States, but he's dying to go back. But his experience when he woke up the next morning, he could palpably feel a sense of freedom that he never felt before in his life and didn't realize it until he got to the continent. Like it's real to
I
wake
keep
up.
hearing about that.
Yes, and it's something that I think every black person in America should experience because you don't realize. And then when you come back to the states, you have to go through immigration. You see it, you feel a dark cloud come over you because you know that you are basically going to be dealing with microaggressions, and you know that you're in a place where you're not fully welcome.
Right.
Like you know that, like you feel that in America through the police, through the history, through. But when you're in Africa, it's different, man. And I have person. One of the best things I think I've ever done is to have brothers and sisters from America come meet me in Africa for the first time, and for them to like go through the whole process of seeing a new reality and feeling unrestricted and feeling unpressured and it's a different feeling. It's different even when you go to the Caribbean, but when you go to the continent, it's actually really there's a different level of epiphany that you have. And
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
it would be best. I'll have Howard Dorsey come on this show because travel and all that international investing. I'll have Howard Dorsey. One of these weeks I have him come in and let him talk about his experience of traveling and going to Africa for the first time at 55 years old and what
That
he
has a lot to
experienced.
do with health and wealth.
It
So
does.
either show would be very beneficial because that has a lot to do with our health. For anybody, mental health, our spiritual health. I think a lot of people that are in the states that are suffering spiritual attacks, spiritual restrictions. I really do feel like you can get some help in Africa. The economic help, like you said, health, and then wealth, of course, the wealth that just comes with. I've had people say the minute they touched down, got out the airplane, like everything changed for them.
Hmm.
They got their health back. They could breathe better. They could see better. They felt better. Their depression went
Yeah.
away.
Yeah,
All
it's
type of
real.
things. They say that African sun hit differently. I
It
know men
does.
that got,
It
huh?
does. It does. And I would just say people need to experience it for themselves because, like, there's a narrative, oh, Africans don't like us, Black Americans. What people have to realize is that if people don't know my last name, like when I'm on the continent, if people don't know my last name, they think I was born in America and they think I'm a Black American. So I get to hear what people say, and there's love. Like there's love. And what Kafunya is saying is we were welcomed from immigration telling us welcome home. And she's talking about in Africa. So when brothers and sisters would go to whatever countries, whether it be Kenya or whatever, and they see you're a Black American, you come into Africa and they'll ask you, "This is your first time?" They'll tell you, "Welcome home." Now, someone asked me a question. Someone said, "Haru, where would you say is home?" Someone asked me, that's a great question, right? And this is my response. I want to respond to this properly. Someone says, "Where would you say is home?" That's Purple Town Slab Riders. Um, so the best definition of home that I ever heard is home is where when you knock the door, they have to let you in. That's where home
Yes.
is. When you knock on the door, they got to let you in because that's home. The only place that I expect to be let in is any place that serious black folks are operating. I want to say it very specifically. It's not just a black country, because you have a black country run by white minds. Home for me is any enclave or any jurisdiction that I find where you got black folks running things and they don't have glucose in their brain and they are thinking clearly and they are operating at a high level. That is home for me. So for me, living in a black country where things are disorganized and disarrayed, that's not home for me. So the
Right.
places that I have found to be home, Rwanda I have found to be home. And to tell you the truth, like for me, Rwanda is the best country I've ever been in, hands down. Like hands down. It's the cleanest place I've ever been. It's the most serious place in terms of setting up businesses. It's the most serious place in terms of order. It's the in terms of crime, safety.
You said Rwanda?
Rwanda is
The
to
same place
me,
from Hotel Rwanda that I had to turn the movie off because it was so
yes, yes,
disturbing.
yes. And that
Okay.
all happened because of division, but that was in the 1990s. And what has happened in Rwanda since then
A reversal.
is a complete reversal where it is literally the best country I've ever lived in.
Wow, that's a big
Okay.
statement,
Yeah,
brother.
and I don't say these things lightly at all. So
That is
for
a big
me,
statement.
so for me, Rwanda is, and I was born in Ghana and I speak the language and I understand the language of Ghana, which is Akan Twi. I feel more at home in Rwanda than I feel in Ghana. So for me, it's not about where you're born, it's about where you are, where the leadership supports who you are, right?
I like that.
Like where the leadership supports who you are. So it could be anywhere in the world as long as that leadership supports where I am and who I am in this world. And I've heard a saying that says, "Go where you are celebrated and not tolerated." You know what I'm saying? That's a
And
quote.
there's also it depend. There's also a aspect of your birth chart and your
Okay.
placements. They put you in certain places on this planet that are more beneficial to you based off of your birth chart as well. And I don't want to go, you know what I mean? But
Hmm.
we could talk about that in another show. But listen, we
Yeah.
are past the four
Yeah, we
hour
passed the
mark.
4 hour mark, y'all. We just
And
chopping it up,
we
but
just chopping it up. It's
yep.
all good. You know what I
Yeah, but
mean?
it's time. It's definitely time to log out.
If I like it, if you like it, I love it.
Yeah.
This is the longest of long form. But I do want to say thank you, and I want to leave this small commercial right
Hmm.
on August the 29th in Brooklyn, New York. That's 10 days from now. My beautiful KT aliens, my ladies and gentlemen. If you're in the tri-state area, that's Brooklyn, that's Queens, that's New York City, that's Buffalo, that's Rochester, Connecticut, Jersey, even Philadelphia. We're gonna be welcoming my brother Ross Ben to Nicholas Bookstore, right? And we will be doing a IRL in real life lecture entitled The 2026 Predictions from Jason to Janice. And the good brother has been on a roll doing predictions based off of the charts and whatnot. I know people are going through some financial things. I know people are going through just brain fog. And I know people are going through what is known as the 2026 roller coaster ride. So one of the things that we're going to be doing to help people to get out of the confusion, especially being that we're in a retrograde right now, Saturn, is we're going to bring Ross Ben. to give the prediction based off of his charts. I just did a 3 hour live yesterday. I replayed a video 3.5 hours on the channel to show the power of his predictions, where he was predicting the earthquakes, he was predicting the wars, he was predicting a bunch of things, and we got to put that on the internet so people could see that. So the proof is in the pudding. There's proof of work, there's proof of concept, and I want everybody to pull up. If you're not in the area, we're offering the live stream as well. Um, the link, I'm gonna have to drop the link so we could grab it. The link will be in the description of this video. And yeah, I look forward to seeing y'all in the building. The brother Rosbin, who is a master teacher, he doesn't even do this for nobody. I really had to convince him to come out the house and to come into real life, not behind the TV, real life where the magic really occurs. Shout out to Kafunya. She'll be in the building. We're going to be on Uncle Hank's show tomorrow promoting it. We're also going to be on King Simon's show. We're going to do a press junket leading up to it. But yeah, we look forward to your support, ladies and gentlemen. August the 29th, which is a Saturday, and we will be in the building at Nicholas. Doors open 7 p.m. and it'll go on to 11. Thank you.
All right,
Hold on.
y'all.
Somebody said, where's the link? Let me just drop the link before we get it. We might as well. We've been here so long. We family now.
Yeah, yes,
It's like a sleepover.
yeah, I know, right?
But I'm gonna cut that. I'm gonna put that piece that we did on the Invest Fest as a standalone. I'm gonna put that
Hmm.
on the channel so
Yeah,
people get to see it and whatnot, and they could critique it, they could comment, they could share their thoughts. This is an open dialogue. This is not about right or wrong. This is
yeah,
about expressing yourself, how you see things, and how you feel. Nobody is wrong.
right.
Nobody is wrong. It's all perspective based. It's all how you see it. And I welcome everybody's thoughts and everyone's perspective. You feel me? Because I'm not that invested in how people see this thing or how they feel about it. I know what I saw, I know how I felt about it, and I also know the reaction that I'm getting when I'm seeing certain, things going down and whatnot. Like I could be honest about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Amen.
So yeah,
You
and
you
I'm also
pasted
gonna
you
contact
posting
you
the
about
link?
that proposal so we could get this. I wanna build with you about a proposal with your Africa and the Africa proposal, so I could bring that to them as well. The warehouses, the investment, the certain states that you visited, all of that is good right now. So we're gonna go and we're gonna put some things out there. But like I said, if I have grant writers in the audience, if I have sisters and brothers who work corporate and this is what you do and you get funding and whatnot, like do not the real crime is being on the sidelines and hearing our pleads and hearing us share our intellectual property with you. We sharing ideas, we sharing concepts, and you're not assisting us. That's literally what they went on the Breakfast Club to like speak about the lack of assistance from people that literally see you and hear you and won't help. So I'm saying it right now. I'm not my ego is not in I need assistance. I don't need help. I need support and I need assistance because we are building. We're not just sitting around talking. We're building and we have a powerful network. This network is the most powerful network that I ever seen in my life. So let's be a part of the solution and not the critiques and not the peanut gallery and damn sure not the problem.
Absolutely. And on that note, we shall be logging off.
Peace
Bless
and
up, everybody. See you all on Monday, Health Mondays. And actually, we have two prostate cancer reversal coming up. So I'm going to hopefully, I'll be able to record both of those testimonials and we'll have, them played. And maybe we can have one of the two brothers call in to talk about their experience with reversing their disease with the olive leaf extract and the herbal results protocol. Okay, so see you all next week, Monday, for Healthy Mondays, and then next week, Wednesday, with Wealthy Wednesdays. All right, big up, everybody. Bless.
bless up.